Beautiful evening in the gateway to the west, and that famous arch in downtown St. Louis, the instantly identifiable landmark that tells you exactly where IndyCar is this week. And tonight marks the third occasion the series has raced here at Worldwide Technology Raceway in recent years after a 14-year break. But the fans and the passion on display underscores just how much IndyCar is loved in this part of the country. Points leader Joseph Newgarden doubled his advantage last week at Pocono and keeps adding to it after winning the pole position last night, grabbing a bonus point that could, at season's end, make all the difference. His Penske teammate Simon Pagenaud races well here at Gateway and will be a factor tonight. The Indy 500 winner wants to be a two-time series champion. Alexander Rossi didn't get to finish a single lap last week after being tangled in that frightening crash, so tonight is all about getting his title aspirations back on track. While there is no stopping Scott Dixon, the five-time and reigning series champion has finished either first or second in the last four races. He has all the momentum at the moment. And speaking of champions, this city is still celebrating its St. Louis Blues, the Stanley Cup champions, who clinched that title, their very first, in Boston this past June. Oh yeah, and the Stanley Cup, Alex Pietrangelo, the captain, hoisting it there, along with Graham Rahal and Colton Parayko. They are here at Gateway this evening. And it has had a very rich and warm reception, as you could imagine, a few moments ago.
Champion, your St. Louis Blues, Colton Parayko, Alex Pietrangelo, and your 2019 NHL Stanley Cup champion, St. Louis Blues.
That's a bonus. It's not too often at a motor racing event that you're going to have the Stanley Cup here and the Stanley Cup champions. Fantastic atmosphere under the lights here at Gateway. So we're heading into round 15, 3 to go, and Joseph Newgarden has a 36-point advantage over Alexander Rossi. Simon Pagenaud 41 back, and Scott Dixon, as we mentioned, still in the hunt. And here we are at the head of the grid. Speaking of famous trophies, the Astor Cup is here right alongside Paul. Hi folks, Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy. Really excited about this final race under the lights. And fellas, it's also the final oval of this year's NTT INDYCAR Series Championship. 3 to go. So the oval here tonight, 1.25 miles, and we've got 2 road courses to follow with Portland next weekend. Yes, for the second year in succession, IndyCars are back in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of excitement up there. We can't wait to be up there in just over a week's time. And then WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, to finish the season off on NBC. Now, how about the top 4 contenders in this championship? Well, it doesn't get any better for the points leader, Joseph Newgarden. He's starting on the pole position. His teammate Simon Pagenaud is back in 4th. Not so good, and quite unusual, to be honest, for Scott Dixon in 8th. And then Alexander Rossi, 2nd in the championship, will start back in 11th. And there's a lot of frustration in that camp right now. Now, 3 to go, and you saw how tight it is. 53 points blanketing the top 4. You get 50 for a win. The bonus points are 1 for pole, 1 for leading a lap, 2 points for leading the most laps. And then don't forget, at Laguna Seca, there are double the points at that season finale, just to spice things up a little bit, and we really look forward to that. You are both championship-winning drivers. 3 to go. We're coming down the home stretch. What's the state of play?
Well, right now the state of play is Midwest Saturday night shootout. There's a lot of fans. These drivers are racing cars that are faster than anything this track will ever see, and that raises the anxiety and the tension. Just like last race at Pocono, there's a premium on track position. You can get it at the start, but you have to be careful. For those 4 championship drivers, they have to make sure that a small mistake doesn't lead to a big penalty in the points.
A night like this, Paul, at this stage of the championship, does it get you pumped up?
Oh, absolutely. This crowd is huge, and the guy who's going to win this championship is going to have to raise his game, because all 4 of these guys are killers, and they will absolutely take every advantage they can get. So you can't make mistakes, and you're going to have to raise your game and win races from here out. The man just speaking, Paul Tracy, knows how to win, and he knows how to win here at Gateway. Paul was the inaugural IndyCar winner here
back in 1997. He did that for Roger Penske, and the captain has an incredible record here, winning 5 from 9, including the last 2.
Time to get it going. Racing on the final oval of 2017. And up front, Joseph Newgarden is right behind Simon Pagenaud.
Get the sense that Joseph Newgarden knows that to win this race, he might have to make his move right now.
Pagenaud will try to defend on the low line.
Whoa!
The two Penske drivers touch, and Joseph Newgarden goes back to the front to the inside of Simon Pagenaud. The next American superstar takes control of the championship.
Yes, yes, yes! Good job, boys!
The move, I don't know what to say. I don't have anything nice to say, so I'm not going to say it.
Awesome, man. Awesome drive. Those are win.
IndyCar Racing under the light from Gateway.
And look at this move on the racetrack.
On the outside, Will Power going for the lead. Side by side with Scott Dixon.
He ran high, way out. Going to be dust and marbles on that high line, and Power just figured that out.
Will Power looking for the lead, and he's got it.
180 is to get to the end. You want me to go? Yeah, go ahead, just go. We're going to win. This is our best shot.
Will Power putting Alexander Rossi a lap down.
Will Power is going to come in and get a splash.
And now Power has 16 laps at full fuel.
You're the leader now.
Will Power is back in control.
Will Power wins for the 3rd time in
You are the
2018
man.
and keeps his
Great
championship
job.
hopes alive.
I was kind of mad at Dixon because he pushed me out in the marbles, so it gave me extra motivation to get him back and try get to the front. So man, never had so much fun.
Team Penske has won the last 2 here. They've won every oval this season, and Joseph Newgarden is the championship leader, and his win here a couple of years ago had a lot to do with winning that championship. So the championship lead is bigger now than it was. What's your mindset coming in?
Well, it's the same as always. I think we're continuing to focus on each race individually. That's been kind of the key for us. Every year, I think you got to go into the championship that way. They all count. You get a bit more critical towards the end, right? Everyone really nitpicks those last couple races, but every race of this championship counts towards the ultimate goal. So we got to do our thing tonight. I think we have a fast car. Chevy's done a great job for us, and I love this PPG car. It's been pretty lucky for us for the most part, so we're going to try and do some magic tonight.
As we saw, you won the pole yesterday, but then drama at the end of the night practice. You felt a misfire with the engine. New engine, how does that impact things?
I don't think it impacts anything. I have complete faith in Chevrolet. They've never let me down, and I've had every single IndyCar victory in my career with Chevrolet. So have complete faith. I think we're going to be just fine. I'm not even thinking about it, to be honest. I thought our car was good, focused on what little tweaks we could do to be just a bit better tonight, but I think we're going to be ready to rock. The guys are ready to go.
The championship leader leads them to green tonight. To Kelly Stavist.
Well, his teammate Simon Pagenaud would certainly like to spoil that championship campaign for Joseph Newgarden. 41 points now is the spread for you. So what is your mindset? Is it time to get really aggressive or be a bit more methodical about closing that points gap?
It's a great question, Kelly. You've seen it. I've been very aggressive lately, and it's been working. So it's going to keep doing what I've been doing. I feel very, very confident with my crew, and the 22 team on the Menards car has been phenomenal. And Chevy's definitely picked it up as well this year, and then we're able to really give a good run to the Hondas. So we'll see tonight. I felt really, really good last night. I feel like we've made big improvement throughout the weekend. Joseph was really the guy to beat at the beginning of the weekend, but last night I thought we got to his level, so we've got something tonight.
All right, you've already called this the best year of your career. What would it mean to cap it off after the Indy 500 win with the championship?
Yeah, that Astor Cup would look good next to his brothers. So we'll keep pushing, and I'm loving it. I'm loving this competition. It's so much fun when you get down to it, and when you really have to dig deep and get a little bit more out of yourself and your car. This is what racing's about, and I'm sure you feel the thrill at home, and we'll give you a good show tonight for sure.
We can count on these 4 championship contenders to be digging deep under the lights here at Gateway tonight.
Kelly, I like the little sparkle in Simon Pagenaud's eye when you asked him about how you're going to race tonight. Paul, how should Simon Pagenaud race tonight? Should he be on the offensive?
I think he will be, because he had a great car last week at Pocono. Probably could have won that race, but I think he still stings from that little body check that he got from Newgarden a couple years ago. So I think he wants to pay that back tonight.
All right, speaking of Joseph Newgarden, we heard him talk to Kevin there. little bit of a blip with the engine last night, fresh engine in. He starts up front, he starts on the pole, but as history reminds us, Townsend, just because you might start on the front row doesn't give you a clear passage here at Gateway.
It doesn't, but that starting position for Newgarden was a stamp of authority, like he's shown in the past here. This was 2017, big pass on his teammate, Power got into the dirty air, ended up in the fence with a big accident with Ed Carpenter involved. So Newgarden is not afraid to put his moves on, but he's got to be careful at the start. This was a big wiggle last year at the start of the race, and a big wiggle can lead to a big accident, as Sebastian Bourdais found out. Had the same wiggle but couldn't hang on. Just remember that Joseph Newgarden is leading the points for a reason, because when push comes to shove, he likes to shove his guys out of the way and go after that trophy, and Newgarden's on a tear. He's focused on that cup. He wants the second one.
This is pretty light compared to what goes on in the booth too, by the way, between these two. And I wonder how everyone will race on the opening lap of this one, given fresh memories of Pocono a week ago. And in particular, this man here, the Swedish rookie, Felix Rosenquist. He's healthy, he's in the car, he's ready to go after last weekend's crash, which is great news. There's a really nice sized crowd in attendance here tonight, excited about some Saturday night IndyCar racing under the lights in the Midwest. Fantastic. However, while we are here at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, we can't help but think about a week ago at Pocono Raceway, where there was a terrifying crash at over 200 miles an hour on the opening lap of a 500-mile race that involved some 5 drivers. It's the ABC Supply 500, 200 laps, 500 miles.
Alexander Rossi pretty well smoked on the front straightaway. Now Ryan Hunter-Reay is to the inside. Huge crash. Hunter-Reay, Sato. Oh no, and Rossi is in it.
A lot of cars.
Up
Rossi
in the fence is Rosenquist.
Car upside down. Sato's car
on fire too.
Sato's out. Great news.
Felix Rosenquist out of the car.
I can't even begin to understand how after last year Takuma thinks that that's any sort of driving like that's acceptable.
Thank God everybody's all right. You know, thought we learned our lesson here. I think a lot of guys felt the pressure to gain some spots at the beginning, and it all hand grenaded.
Ryan and I was obviously racing exit turn 1, and it looks like Alexander had a slow start. We both go right and left, and I thought it was all clear. I'm not really over-aggressively overtaking or anything.
We were heading into turn 2, kind of 3 wide. I knew that wasn't a good idea, so I backed out, and I don't know how many times we have to do this before people figure out that you can attack all you want. It doesn't give you a chance to win if you're in the fence.
Now, in case you hadn't read or heard the news, as a follow-up to that last week, Takuma Sato, now while there were 3 cars really involved in the main incident, Takuma Sato was actually assessed a penalty from race control, and that was an avoidable contact penalty. Now, of course, he crashed out of that race. It doesn't mean anything for that race, and it doesn't really mean anything for tonight. However, it does mean something in the big picture, because if you read the bottom paragraph, any driver determined to be in violation of Rule 933, avoidable contact, here's the important part, 2 times during any 3 consecutive race events shall be placed on probation. So either tonight or the next race. So it just means that Sato has to kind of tread carefully over the next couple of races, and that's what's at play as we join Robin Miller with Takuma Sato.
Yeah.
Takuma,
yes.
The eye of the storm all week from Pocono. You were fined for avoidable contact by IndyCar, or penalized, but Dario Franchitti and Sebastian Bourdais gave you big props and stood behind you. How do you see it a week later?
Well, obviously, unfortunately, the incident happened, and I'm sorry for the situation, but I think it's enough evidence now out there who held the line, who drives straight. Unfortunately, you know, you can't control some. It's never going to convince to be able to convince, but like you said, we all learn from that, and we move on. I'm really looking forward to this weekend, and but honestly, today, paddock, fans, so many people come on to support me. I was so fortunate.
You didn't get booed then at all.
No. So thank you, IndyCar fan. I think for the great sport that you supported, from what happened, what you see in the fact and evidence, I think we can all learn. And we still love this sport, making more excitement and more development.
All right, your motto's no attack, no chance. Would you do anything different last week than you did?
Well, obviously different circumstance, but today's, up front, I'm so excited. I think tonight's going to be a very exciting one.
All right, Kevin, Takuma starts 5th.
Hey, I just had a cool ride around with a former Indy 500 champion in Alexander Rossi, who almost won this race last year. You're not starting where you'd like to start. It hasn't gone perfectly. How does that change any approach you have to this race, or is it still the same? I need wins.
Yeah, it's still the same. I mean, we're in a bit of a hole that we're going to need to dig ourselves out of. So we're going to be aggressive. I need to be aggressive and try and make some things happen. So hopefully at the end of 248 laps, we're in a better position than we are right now.
You told me this is one of those kitchen sink deals. You didn't have the car you want. What is that like going out at the start of a race not knowing what you have?
It's fine. I mean, I know what this 27 Napa Andretti Honda Crew is capable of. I re-signed with Andretti Autosport for a reason. I have a lot of faith in my engineer, Jeremy Miller, so I'm sure it'll be an awesome car.
That's why these guys do what they do, and I don't. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out as we go along, Lee.
And hearing from those two drivers, particularly interesting because they shared some words against each other on social media during the week about the Pocono crash. Townsend, we've all had almost a full week to kind of digest this, look at various angles. What are your thoughts almost a week on?
Well, it's really pretty simple. IndyCar looked at the crash, assessed a penalty to Takuma Sato, but let's not forget that the statistics don't lie. 41% of the time that Takuma races on an oval, it ends in a crash. But that's why we love to watch him, because he goes for it.
Sure.
He goes big. He's not afraid to push the limits. It's exciting, but it comes with the yin and yang, if you will, of big results or potentially a big issue. So for Sato tonight, he's got to get through that first corner, but don't change who you are. That's what won you in Indy 500. I'm rooting him on.
Paul, you've said this yourself many times. Hey, I was in a lot of, sketchy situations. I've been penalized a lot of times. How do you view this situation almost a week on?
Well, I don't see anything that is any different than what I saw in the moment last week. I've seen all the camera angles. I've seen telemetry. I've seen freeze frames. I've seen seams. I've seen lines. And nothing changes what I initially thought. So with that, Takuma, I feel, is in the right frame of mind tonight. He's upbeat. He knows he's got to move on from this, and he's got to have a good race and then finish out this year strong.
And I think it's worth noting, too, that the three of us sat down with Takuma Sato and some Team Rahal Letterman Lanigan personnel prior to tonight's show and tonight's race. And he very much, and you saw it there with Robin's interview, he's got the support of some of the drivers, some won't be budged, but he really just wants this. He didn't do it intentionally, and he wants to move on. He wants to put a period on it and move on. He's very regretful that there were championship hopefuls involved, like Alexander Rossi, but at the end of the day, you want to put it under that umbrella of racing incident, right?
Yeah, that's the most important thing in this business is you, like any other sport, you have to be able to put that behind you. This race is going to go off in under an hour, and it's going to be fierce, and you're going to have to put all of your energy. Team Rahal Letterman has a statement that, or a saying on their team, focus forward. Takuma Sato has to focus forward and go make it happen tonight and forget about Pocono.
You agree with that, Paul?
I absolutely agree. You guys were there when I said to him personally, I said, look, you need to concentrate now, focus forward and concentrate. You've got only so much time in your career left, maybe 2-3 years. Focus on winning another 500, winning races, finishing up in the championship.
And he very well could. He almost won the Indy 500 this year. So Takuma Sato, by the way, has his best starting spot here at Gateway tonight. That is 5th. Who knows? He could win tonight and definitely put Pocono behind him as we get closer to the start of the final oval race of the year. Next Sunday, NASCAR's past and present meet again. Throwback weekend returns with the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. That's next Sunday at 6 Eastern on NBCSN. And boy, it's an exciting time in NASCAR because the playoffs are looming large. Yes, Darlington, then the Brickyard. 2 events to go before we move into playoff mode and look at those drivers on the inside and those on the outside looking in, including 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson. So these last 2 events coming up at Darlington and the Brickyard, it's pressure time for those drivers on the bubble. So packed grid and a pretty packed house. This is going to be a great night here at Gateway. You know, back in the day, points were tallied for drivers' performances on road and street courses versus ovals. They don't do that anymore, but if they did, it's pretty simple this year to sort out who's the best team on the ovals in 2019. It's Team Penske. This is the greatest spectacle in racing. Simon Pagenaud sweeps the month of May and wins his maiden Indy 500. Out in front, under the lights, Joseph Newgarden, championship leader, wins in Texas. He has led 244 laps tonight in what has been a superb driving performance from the championship leader. And he wins here in Iowa. Will Power, a two-time winner here, surged to the front after making a comeback. The storms rolled in, and Will Power was able to get his first win of this 2019 season, so needed. Just as a point of interest, let's have a look at oval points. And Simon Pagenaud, as you can understand, being the Indy 500 champion, has amassed the most oval points over Joseph Newgarden. But interestingly, look at the rookie, Santino Ferrucci, in the top 5 on oval points. And of course, that top 5 result last weekend certainly helped that. And he's ahead of the 5-time series champion Scott Dixon, who we need to hear from now.
You know, Dixie, in the old days, 2 wins and 6 second places, you'd probably be running away with the championship, and you find yourself in 4th. It's unbelievably how competitive this thing has gotten.
It is. I think it's the DNFs that hurt, or the crashes. You know, we had the crash at Indy, we had the crash at Race 1 Detroit. You know, we had the spin there, got turned around at Road America, and I think there's one other spot. So, or Texas, you know, we had a crash there too. So, you know, those, I think when you earn no points, and especially when the competition is so consistent and tough, you know, they can really stretch you. So, you know, the last few races we've kind of fought our way back into this championship chase, but tonight, starting 8th, we've definitely got our work cut out. You know, we're definitely hoping that second lane, or at least some pretty high degradation, is going to come into factor to allow us to try and pass. Strategy, I think, is always key here. You know, last year we saw it pretty mixed between you know, 3-stop, 4-stop, and this year I see it probably going to be quite similar. So I don't know, it's going to be an interesting night, man.
All right, Lee Diffie, Scott Dixon trying to get to the front again.
Yeah, Robin, thank you very much. Paul, he's so laid back, he's so humble. And, you know, I mean, his own words, he said, yeah, I've done pretty good the last few races. In the last 4, he hasn't finished any worse than 2nd. Here comes Dixon again.
Absolutely. All started at Iowa, and he was out of it at Iowa, lapped by everybody, and somehow managed to get his car right for the end of the race and get it up to the podium. So he can definitely do that tonight. He's struggled so far in qualifying, but he's got some work to do.
Just as an aside, you saw those oval points. We just put that up for interest's sake. How about Santino Ferrucci ahead of Scott Dixon?
Well, Santino Ferrucci is the most exciting driver in the series right now, and he's showing on ovals where he has no experience that he's kind of mastered it already. I'm really excited to see what this guy can do tonight. He's exciting. He finishes laps and races at a rate we've never seen out of a rookie. So great decision-making, great racecraft from Santino Ferrucci.
Ferrucci, like last week at Pocono, has never raced here at Gateway, and he said that his team owner, Dale Coyne, said that's a good thing because you don't know any better. There's no bad habits to try and shake off this young American rookie, so we'll see how he performs tonight here under the lights. This is a beautiful evening in the Midwest, and we're really getting close to race start, so much so it's time to go to the pre-race opening ceremonies.
Race fans, at this time, we ask that you please rise. Yesterday afternoon, we learned of the passing of Illinois State Trooper Nicholas Hopkins, who was killed in the line of duty. Nick was scheduled to be a part of our security detail for this weekend's race, and had expressed to our team how excited he was to work tonight's event. He was also a close friend to many employees associated with our venue and our sponsors. Please join us in a moment of silence to remember Trooper Nicholas Hopkins, and please pray for his family and our friends in the law enforcement community. Please remain standing as the Scott Air Force Base presents our nation's colors, accompanied by a bald eagle from the World Bird Sanctuary. Please remain standing as Rick Pena from Worldwide Technology offers this evening's invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we come to you in the name of your Son, Jesus. We thank you, Father, for allowing us to congregate tonight in this great nation, in this great place. We ask you, Father, to fill the stands and fill the whole place with your love, your power, your grace, and your favor. We lift up the teams and every driver. We pray, Father, that tonight that everyone will be shielded and protected from all harm, that your love would just permeate throughout everything that is done. And we ask you, Father, to continue to bless these United States of America. Over this great nation, we declare that Jesus is Lord, and we pray this by faith. In Jesus' name, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the St. Louis Blues' own Charles Glenn.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and of the brave.
I'm out of race fans. Let's hear it one more time for Charles Glenn. And special thanks to the T-38C talent of the 25th Flying Air Training Squadron from Vance Air Force Base for providing tonight's flyover.
Fantastic rendition by Charles Glenn. Great story. The longtime St. Louis Blues anthem singer who went out on top. He had already announced he was going to retire from that role, and the Blues win the Stanley Cup, and some of their players are here. And Graham Rahal is the resident NHL fan. We'll talk with Graham and talk more about the Cup next.
248 laps, 310 miles is what's on the menu tonight, and 22 Indy cars here at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. It's the final oval, it's the final night race, and it's glittering. Indy cars will shine. It's time to bring the action. Newgarden with a good start. Bourdais goes with him. Ferrucci on the outside and Power on the inside.
Power forces his way, and is that Sato and Hunter Ray getting together? A little bit of contact and a big wiggle from Hunter Ray. Great save.
Big start by Rossi. He was down the inside, but his teammate is on the inside of him as they go into three. Pagenaud slots in behind Dixon.
How forceful was Will Power? Right into turn one. Oh! Spinner.
Saves it. He saved it.
I don't know if he did. Yes.
He did.
Erickson. Caution is out. Marcus Erickson in his first race here at Gateway. And
gray 8 here, gray 8.
Look at all the grass inside the left front wing. He's going to hopefully come to pit lane and clear that off.
I see grass in my front wing, but I didn't touch anything, but thought this shoved my shop.
Watch this. We're on board with Ryan Hunter-Ray. That's Takuma Sato on the left. These are the cars that got together at Pocono in that big accident. They touch. Sato saves it, and of course Rossi was right in the mix just like last week.
He got loose too.
Yeah,
Rossi got loose.
Rossi got way sideways, and that allowed Hunter Ray to get a run on him. But look at this action on this car. Rossi goes down the inside, and then the track opens up for him, and he does a gas it up right here. Look. And contact for Sato and Hunter Ray again.
Yeah, Sato's sort of sandwiched here in the middle in the blue and white car.
He
gets
of those
low,
cars
and then he
were
kind of
involved.
bounces up, and Hunter Ray goes to avoid, and then Sato starts to save it. Can you imagine the irony if those three cars would have wrecked again?
And Hinch was in it too.
Yes.
You had Hinch, Sato, Hunter Ray, and Rossi all wheel to wheel again.
Now, is this the Erickson incident? Yes, it is. He goes sideways himself.
Looked like he was just maybe a little bit on the curb.
Might have been dirty air. Could have put the left front on that curb. Either way, nice job to hang on to it. Now he's at the back, so if the pit's open, no penalty to come and clean off that grass and put 4 new Firestones on that baby.
Yeah, no penalty to get off sequence too. Top this thing up. Fuel mileage tonight is going to play a factor. You can guarantee that.
The grass is perfectly placed in that front wing. It looks like when you go into a juice bar and you get a shot of wheat grass, you know, they're all sticking up there perfectly.
That's a Townsend program, not me. I get a protein shake.
Yeah. Scott Dixon sits 5th in this order. Has come close to victory here, especially last year. Really stormed back strong. Couldn't quite catch Alexander Rossi for that top 2 spot. It was Power and Rossi and Dixon last year. Well, the drivers in the mix, and if Scott Dixon can put up another win or a 2nd place, that will make 5 races in a row, finishing either 1st or 2nd as he continues to mount another challenge for another championship, which would be title number 6.
Saving fuel, you can hear he's got the clutch in. We got takers now going off sequence.
Charlie Kimball and Erickson come to pit lane. And like you said, Paul, they're just going to top up on Kimball here, save those tires, get him out at least in front of Erickson. And there's that California wheatgrass growing on the left front wing. Let's see. Yeah, not much to clean it up. That would have blown off anyways on a restart, but he does probably have some flat spots, so happy to have 4 fresh tires.
Charlie Kimball deciding to come in, as we mentioned, boasting a new sponsor in Rip Current aboard the Carlin Chevrolet. There goes Charlie. Unfortunately, last night in final practice, there was a 1-hour session, and right towards the end of that session, Charlie ended up, his words, not mine, I just got too wide, I got up into the marbles, and he went into the wall, and that ended the session prematurely. So
look at Tony Kanaan here. Diff on the start. He's gone up 6 positions. He passed probably 3 cars in turn 1, and there he's got a run on Ed Carpenter down the back straightaway. So he might be one of the oldest drivers in the field. He certainly has the most experience, and he's shown it with a start like that.
So pleased to see Sato, Hunter Ray, and everybody else, and Hinchcliffe as well, get through that opening lap cleanly. So no problem there. Everything's been cleaned up. Kanaan and Andretti. Tony Kanaan, Marco Andretti, the former teammates, are the biggest movers in this early passage of the race. Kanaan up 6, Andretti up 4. Productive starts. Who's going to get a good jump here? Joseph Newgarden leads the field. On board with Santino, Ferrucci.
Go, 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 go.
Go, go, go is the call, and Ferrucci said he's ready to do some passing tonight. Let's see what the rookie can do. He's up against Will Power, last year's winner, on board.
Santino Ferrucci got a good jump. Will Power had some wheel spin. It jumped out, but Will Power goes to the high side of Bourdais. Santino makes it 3 wide.
What a move from Power. Further back, Dixon's looking on Pagano as Ferrucci goes after his teammate and makes the move. Ferrucci to 3rd.
Awesome work early on the restart. This rookie is not intimidated by the ovals, and now he's chasing Joseph Newgarden, championship leader and the defending race winner, and Will Power.
All season long, Santino Ferrucci's been the understudy, the apprentice Sebastian Bourdais. He calls him dad, and I think the apprenticeship is over, and it's time for the next generation, because look at the action going on here. That's Carpenter and Daly.
Everybody around Ferrucci is a series champion, and this rookie is up there battling with these guys.
Good side-by-side action further back. Erickson with those fresh tires.
Zach Veach, what can he do tonight? Here's Simon Pagano working on fellow Frenchman, Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais will hold that low line. Simon thinks about it twice. Will Power, by the way, has been a big advocate for a high line here, two-lane racing. Will we see it? He tried to make it all himself last night in final practice. We'll see as this race goes on.
And we saw that in practice last night, Diff, that Will was trying it up there. I asked him if he made any progress. He said, if somebody would have come with me, that groove will come in. It's doable, and he really thinks they can make something happen. The other issue with Power is that they had some telemetry issues. They weren't able to learn a whole lot in that practice, so he also was coming in not sure what he has, but obviously he's finding it to his liking in the early going.
Pretty amazing, Paul, when you think about the wheel spin that Power had coming to the line for the restart, that he was still able to make a move on the outside of Bourdais in turn 1.
Yeah, Santino had the run on him, and he backed off wisely and then set the corner up. And Bourdais had a little bit of trouble in turn 1 with Power on the outside. But look at Santino right there on the back of Will Power. You look at these guys that are around him. I believe there's 12 times champions. If you count up all the championships of all the guys around him, it's 12 times.
Top 6 cars are 3 Penske's, 2 Ganassis, and both Dale Coyne entries. It's the little team that has delivered great cars, Kelly, in all the oval races this season.
And talking to both those teammates, Santino, Ferrucci, and Sebastian Bourdais, it was kind of like a tale of two wins, because Santino Ferrucci was full of energy, said, I think we've got a really fast car tonight, but his teammate said, I'm not so sure. I think I'm going to be more on the defensive mode early. He felt a little bit outmatched by those Team Penske cars, and now that's exactly what we've seen. Santino on the march forward, while his teammates kind of had to hang back and fend off those Team Penske's behind him.
Race leader Joseph Newgarden, as you would imagine, has set the fastest lap of the race at 180 miles per hour. Not bad for a 1 1/4 mile track, is it?
Here's a look at this new Monster livery of Felix Rosenquist. Great to see Monster involved here this weekend.
Car looks awesome too, doesn't it? Rosenquist runs a solid 7th behind Ganassi teammate Scott Dixon, but it's the championship leader who is the race leader, Joseph Newgarden. What a weekend he's had so far. Quick reminder that you can get even more IndyCar with the NBC Sports Gold IndyCar Pass. Yes, there's only 2.5 races left, but you can still get a whole lot more. You can watch every qualifying and practice live and on demand by visiting NBCSports.com/IndyCar now. And if you are with us on Gold, and you were last night, this is the kind of stuff we can show you. We stayed with the Newgarden problems, engine dramas, for a long time at the end of the session last night, which resulted in Joseph's team at Penske changing that engine out. Chevrolet engineers were all over that one, and they popped in a new one, and so far so good for Joseph Newgarden. So far so good for Roger Penske and his organization that has had an amazing run here at Gateway. There's the captain. This is the 10th IndyCar race here, and as the Land Rover track facts tell us, the captain has owned this place, hasn't he? 5 from 9. Look at the bottom of that graphic. The inaugural winner here, our very own PT. Good memories?
Yeah, great memories. Great race. Came through the pack at the end, and I think we're going to see that tonight. This is a track that is cooling, Townsend. It's going to get faster. There's going to be rubber laid down, and it's not going to be over till the last 10 to 15 laps.
And a lot of times at these tracks, historically, Penske likes to run a lower downforce setup and take the straight line speed and hang on. Sometimes it plays against them, but on a cool night here in St. Louis, I think those cars could only get faster. As we ride on board with Conor Daly, he's moved up impressively, 4 positions. Fastest in practice last night. He was caught out in qualifying because of some oil dry that went down because he was the first car out, Kevin, but he's looking for a strong night, and so far so good.
That's what added to his frustration, because the potential was there. He's good at this track. Remember, he had his best finish with the Foyt team a couple of years ago at 5th. That's his 3rd best ever, and this team has had some decent results here as well. And they've been quick despite having some issues, a wastegate issue, causing them a power issue, missing a lot of practice. Gearing issues in practice, and Conor says he's a little bit short on gears here as well, so may not still be to his optimal speed right now.
And he's driving with a little extra motivation. Conor Daly is in that Gallagher car. His grandmother, Ruth Ann Gallagher, turns out coincidentally her maiden name, Gallagher, passed away last week, and it's really extra motivation. She was a special lady and a big influence on his life, so a lot to play for tonight.
And you think that it meant a lot that Conor was driving a car with Gallagher on the side.
Yeah.
Ruth Ann thought that was going to help Conor, just give him that little bit extra. She never missed a moment of when he was racing, in no matter what category. She was his biggest fan.
Pit windows are coming up, and we're going to be going out to about almost 60 laps, and I believe that tire wear is going to be an issue because we had some cars last night that were having tire issues, vibration issues on the left front, so we'll see who can keep that under control.
And that was Conor's biggest concern. He didn't know what this race was going to have in store in terms of tire degradation, etc., but he's going to give it his best, and he's made up 4 positions so far. Let's take you to some recent radio with Joseph Newgarden.
Definitely running the left sides off a bit like last night. Copy that. You're doing fine.
Yeah, so Joseph just said, hey, the left side tires are running it off. So what's happening, Townsend, is that this tire's real soft on the left side, and it's wearing out quickly and then kind of going out around and picking up a vibration.
Drivers were complaining last night about that vibration. Talked to Colton Herta just before the race. He says it feels like you've got a flat spot by about 40 laps.
This race so far is very much mirroring the last couple. It settles into a rhythm, but is no indication of what's to come later on, because the last 40 to 50 laps in this one have proven to be explosive over the last couple of years. Hey, if you need your Sunday motor racing fix, keep it right here on NBCSN tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern as the GT classes, so GT11 and GTD in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, take on one of the best tracks in the country. That's VIR, Virginia International Raceway. Again, that's 1:30 Eastern tomorrow afternoon right here on NBCSN. I have to say, congratulations to the AIM Vassar Sullivan Group. I'm saying that because Townsend Bell's sitting in between Paul and I. Townsend practiced yesterday at VIR in his Lexus sports car, flew here this morning, and in my hotel room we watched on the app your teammate Frankie Montecalvo putting it on the front row in GTD. That's awesome.
Best qualifying for the season. We're excited for tomorrow. I just got a little flutter in my stomach remembering that I'm going to race tomorrow. I'm all jacked up to get after it. Should be fun and a great racetrack as we see the Firestone telemetry riding on board with Santino Ferrucci. He just continues to impress here. Holding station here behind Will Power ahead of his teammate Sebastian Bourdais. Just kind of learning the car, and you can start to see that vibration we were talking about, Paul, just in the hands with the left front tire. And just look at the sidewall on the left front, the way that kind of shakes back and forth.
Keep an eye on the leader, Joseph Newgarden. His lead has gone from 2 seconds down to 1.5 seconds. He just radioed in about 3 laps ago and said, I'm really loose. Tim Cindric said, you've got a big gap. You can back it up a little bit right now. And he also said, we really can't pit early. And look at this 3 wide here, splitting one of the Carpenter cars right there in the middle. The racing starting up, his tires go away.
Sato runs it in there deep and runs high. Got passed by about 2 or 3 cars on the exit. There was 3 wide going in there. Sato went in super deep and then ran way up the track.
Now he's desperately trying to get back onto the line as Sato, because I think the marbles build very quickly here at Gateway, and now he's under pressure from Matthias Lay. Sato going straight to the back.
Yeah,
he went from 5th. He's gone from 5th to 21st. And let's have a look at that moment again. Conor Daly, Ed Carpenter. This is the view from Conor. That's Tony Kanaan up there.
Oh, big loose moment for Conor Daly. He backs everybody up in the corner, and then now you watch Sato on the inside here, comes sailing down the inside and whistles it in here and runs right up the track. Conor able to hold the position, but there's Sato going up the track behind him. Watch this. Conor able to maintain position, but watch Sato just go sliding up the track.
Oh, man. What a save that was from Conor Daly as we ride on board with Graham Rahal. There you see Ed Carpenter sliding back under Sato, and Sato just absolutely hanging on.
And guys, earlier when we were on board with Santino Ferrucci, you could see it, that vibration that is a word I'm hearing over the radio up and down pit road. Sebastian Bourdais told me that staying on top of the tires was going to be crucial. It looks like Sato's coming in. Meanwhile, Simon Pagenaud saying he's got a vibration that has kind of gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, right now, Joseph Newgarden is lapping slower than last place Charlie Kimball. So Newgarden just kind of hanging on, trying to manage until they get to the fuel window. And Sato has to be relieved to get to pit lane and get another 4 set of tires.
What happened, Kev? What happened to this car for him to go from 5th to last?
And you wonder at the start of the race, because of what happened, was he a little more conservative and that ended up hurting him a little bit? And then just a moment ago, so Sato now trying to play catch up early on, praying it doesn't go yellow in the next little while, which would pretty much take him out of the game.
Yeah, he just got lapped by Joseph Newgarden as he came to pit road, but these tires, Townsend, are going away fast. Newgarden is backing up to his teammate, and these guys now are got to hang on for the next 10 laps, and some guys can't handle it. Piggott comes in.
Look at the points as they run right now. Alexander Rossi dropping to 3rd, but there's a long way to go in this race before we get into that. Let's go to pit road, Kelly.
And that's the 21 of Spencer Piggott. He's among the first to come to pit road. He felt pretty optimistic when I talked to him after practice, Kevin.
And Graham Rahal, Takuma Sato's Rahal Letterman Lanigan teammate, also coming in on the early side of the window. You need to basically go 50. You need to average 50 to do it on 4 stops, so they're going to have to save a little bit later on.
Guys, I think I saw a line of blisters that were on Piggott's right rear tire. We'll try to check that out when we get done with these pit stops. But Ed Carpenter on pit lane takes a little bit of front wing, so he's not loose. He's taking a little bit more front wing.
So last year, Joseph Newgarden led the early stages of this race, and it wasn't until lap 60 when he came in. But remember, there was some yellow at the beginning of last year's race, as there has been here in tonight's race. Pagenaud comes in. Been a promising start to the race for the Indy 500 champion.
And Leah, was a promising start, I should say, for Simon Pagenaud in this race. And to begin with, he said that he was really happy, just simply said that that car was good, but then the vibration came and it seemed to get worse and worse. He said this thing is terrible. They're going to take a little wing out of Simon Pagenaud's car, 4 tires.
So there you see Rossi's guys getting ready, and here comes Scott Dixon. So everybody bailing out early here to come for fresh tires. Dixon was up to 5th, and we'll see how he cycles out.
See how fast they run.
Scott Dixon immediately radioing in when he saw the 22 car come to pit road. You could tell he was anxious to follow suit, so he'll get some fresh tires.
We'll see if this undercut works. These guys that come in early for fresh tires, whether they can put in some hot laps, Kevin.
I want to look at this again. I think maybe Joseph Newgarden may have nearly made contact coming in with Matheus Leis. Alexander Rossi right there in front of him. Look how tight that is, just barely getting around Newgarden's crew guys. Newgarden has dominated this race from the early start. He's back out. He's going to be racing Matheus Leis, wanting to make sure he stays in front of him.
Man, the right rear tire changer for Newgarden had to navigate between the rear wing of his driver's car and Alexander Rossi.
And you know what? I think Newgarden was frustrated with Leis. How's it work out? The shakeout. Power is in. Been running in the top 2 all race long.
Watch me, watch me. Go, go!
Now watch him in comparison to Joseph Newgarden and Scott Dixon.
Big burnout by Power. You can spin those tires and turn the tire on the rim, but this is going to be close as they come to the exit. Power's coming out onto the warm-up lane here.
He's got a chance. Power's got a chance. Newgarden's at speed. It's close between the Penske teammates, but Newgarden takes the top spot.
Oh, we got traffic here.
Ferrucci and Kimball.
This is trouble for Ferrucci. He's got to get in line.
It's going to be a drag race, though. They're going to come off the button, and the yellow's out.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Follow behind you. Follow.
Turn 4. There's something happened. That's where the yellow is.
Oh, somebody's gone into
that's
the
Power.
wall.
I think that's Power.
I wonder if he got together with his teammate or
tried to make a move and went high. Yeah. He was the guy advocating for the high line, you know, asking drivers to run up there to open it up into 2 lanes, and you can see.
Yeah, I'm okay.
You can see the marbles on offline, and it wouldn't surprise me that he tried to go high and already only 50 laps into the race. If the tires are wearing that quickly, that rubber has to go somewhere, Paul.
Yes,
it usually goes high on the racetrack.
And he could have tried that outside move. He wanted to do that. He was doing it last night. And here we got the replay now. So let's have a look. Yeah, he just got high. He's out of the groove.
He's not even racing anybody.
First lap out of the pits. It's over for Will Power.
And we take a look at the 21 tire. Look at the blisters on the back tire right here, all blistered up. So these guys have got some issues with these tires. That's the vibration.
That came off the 21 of Spencer Piggott, the Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolet. So Will Power, for a couple of races now, despite even winning last week, has said, now I'm not really in this championship. Well, after that now, he really is out of this championship hunt. We can talk mathematically, but then the focus remains on the top 4, Joseph Newgarden, Simon Pagenaud, Alexander Rossi, and Scott Dixon. Well, so drivers yet to pit: Colton Herta, Conor Daly, Marco Andretti. Only 3.
Erickson's up there as well, so that early pit stop for going through the grass has benefited him.
It's that close call between Santino, Ferrucci, and Charlie Kimball.
Now I wonder where the yellow came out, because Ferrucci actually beats Kimball once they come off of the pit speed right here. Oh yeah, the yellow's already out.
Yellow,
so it's
falling
frozen.
behind him.
And so Kimball does have the position. That's the blend line. And look at this.
Watch the rear tire. The rear tire on the inside bounces away. Watch this. See that tire get away?
But look at this, Paul. Look at how tight it is with the right rear tire changer right there. Look at the air hose in his feet and ankles as Rossi's trying to launch. It doesn't get much tighter than
rear
that.
Tire bouncing over into the front guy too. Look, as he's trying to put the front tire on.
Top 2 in the championship. How close do you like it? Very tight on pit road. So this gives everybody a chance to kind of reset, regroup, think about it again. And unfortunately for Team Penske, it has lost one of its big stars, Will Power, out of the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Bommarito.com, where Price sells cars, open 24/7. By Honda, an official vehicle of the NTT INDYCAR Series. And by Fifth. Welcome back to Worldwide Technology Raceway here at Gateway as the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 continues. I'm going to show you something that involves the Arrow Schmidt-Peterson pilot in James Hinchcliffe. Still under yellow, and Townsend, this was the replay of Hinch coming to pit road. He entered the pit commit, past the pit commit line there under green, but look up to the right.
There it goes. He's already committed to pit lane, so he's clear to pit, and very timely yellow flag for James Hinchcliffe, because that allowed him to get to pit lane. Everybody else pitted under green, and that's a big advantage on a short oval. So when we go back to green, after Herta, Daly, and Erickson and Andretti pit, James Hinchcliffe will be leading us on the restart.
Same scenario as Power last week at the 500. He got the lucky break where the yellow came out. He was in the pit lane, and that moved him through the field. So we're going to see a lot of action here up front. These guys up front here on old tires, and we got Hinchcliffe, Santino on fresh rubber. So these guys could have their hands full.
So Colton Herta yet to pit. The blue car in second. Conor Daly yet to pit. Marcus Erickson, who had that half spin on the opening lap. There he is in the second Schmidt-Peterson car. He's kind of 4 laps out of that, and then Marco Andretti yet to pit. There is one driver out of this race. Unfortunately, he was the defending race winner, Will Power.
And the most recent winner on the oval at Pocono last week. You had such a strong start. What happened, Will?
Yeah, the car was great. The car was really good. I came out on cold tires and just got a little bit out of the groove. And man, it's like ice. There's so many marbles because they bought a new tire that really sheds the rubber. And that was going to happen in the race no matter what. But man, I guess my bad for getting up there. You just can't put an inch on that stuff. It's just, man, you just go straight. It's ridiculous. Yeah, sucks for the guys. I had such a good car, so I just had to hang out all day, and you know, would have had a good chance.
Glad you're okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So from victory lane to the first out of the next race. Really frustrating for Will Power, and he was the big advocate of two-groove, two-lane racing here at Gateway this evening, and you heard his words there. You just put a foot wrong, get out in the marbles, and it's all over. We're going to squeeze in a quick break so we can show you more green flag racing when we come back. Scott Dixon sitting on pit lane. The championship hopeful, the reigning series champion, is now a lap down. There is some issue. You saw it in non-stop. They added some water to the system. They asked Scott to rev the car a couple of times.
No, let's just go to the garage now and fix it.
Yeah, they've got big problems going back to the garage, so any number of things could happen.
Not the front flare, it's the radiator.
For some reason, a rock maybe went through the radiator, but they are losing fluid, so they tried to top it up, and it's just not happening. So they're going to have to go back to the garage and work on this. This is going to put him many, many laps down.
Total disaster for Dixon. The march in the points has been so consistent and strong the last 4 races, but like Alexander Rossi at Pocono, the Ganassi boys are going to go back, get this thing fixed, put him back out in this race, and try to score whatever points possible as they hold up here. A car's probably coming to pit lane. It looks like Takuma Sato's guys are on the pit wall, so IndyCar officials making him wait, and for Scott Dixon, this is just a cruel blow.
So of the top 4 title contenders, last week it was Rossi's turn to Townsend's point. This week it's Dixon's turn as Sato comes back in. It has not gone Sato's way tonight. Starting 5th, he dropped like a stone back to 22nd and last. And now he's back in again. Back to the Dixon story. There is team principal Chip Ganassi. Kelly's there.
And I just checked in with Chip. He told me it must be a water pump leak or failure or something with the radiator. The temperatures went high. I did hear at one point the team asked Scott if he smelled any coolant or anything inside the cockpit, to which he answered no. But as we've already reported, and you can see it there, they're not going to push that car back to the garage to try to get it fixed and salvage what they can as he tries to keep his championship hopes alive.
And Sato just left the pits in a fury and ran over all of his pit equipment, Townsend, his air gun and hose and all that.
It wasn't Sato's fault, but I think the radio fell off the right front tire changer. I think that's because on Sato's car, he just did a big old burnout on that radio.
Right, let's take you back. Let's take you back a few moments ago and have a listen to some Santino Ferrucci radio.
It feels like this caution has been going all day. Yeah, copy on that. Keep doing what you're doing and help us with fuel, because I think we're going to turn this into a 3-stopper potentially.
There you go.
Michael Cannon giving him the coaching.
You can only do that if you can hang on to these tires, though, Paul, on longer stints. You can save fuel, but the tires are what they are, and sometimes you get pickup on these tires after a long yellow, so this restart could be crazy.
He's got to make quick work of the car in front of him, and you can see him. He's ready.
Set to go back to racing here at Gateway. James Hinchcliffe is the race leader. Here comes Santino Ferrucci up the inside. Not quite close enough. Yes, he is. Straight up the inside of Charlie Kimball.
He needed to make that move early, so now he can just sit on the back of James Hinchcliffe and ride for a little bit. This guy's got moves, Townsend.
He really does, and he also has great maturity. He's patient as Conor Daly sends it into turn 3 and has to get on the brakes, almost loses it again. And Daly's got a run now on Rossi.
Brakes were glowing on Conor Daly's car going into 3. They're 3 wide on the front straightaway.
Colton Herter on the inside of Simon Pagenaud. Rossi on the outside. Alexander Rossi.
Once again, Rossi is fearless on these short ovals. That was close.
I thought Power said you couldn't use the high line. Rossi was way up top. He's still working the top groove.
Keep in mind, during that long yellow, the sweeper trucks were out to clean the line, and here comes Conor Daly for another run.
These guys are best buddies. Hunter Ray's now in the mix. Will he make it 3 wide?
Ryan Hunter-Reay in his 250th career start in IndyCar racing. What's tonight got in store for Captain America? There he is in that familiar yellow and red DHL Honda.
That's tight.
Carpenter tried to go on the inside of Kanaan.
Big block by Kanaan down the back straightaway. Carpenter, look, almost in the grass.
Hinchcliffe, Ferrucci, the teammates are 2nd and 3rd. Newgarden, championship leader, is 4th, and then Felix Rosenquist.
I'll bet Ed Carpenter is not too thrilled with Tony Kanaan right now. Nobody knows how to make
big time block by TK. The brakes did not go in the grass.
Nobody knows how to make the back of an IndyCar wider than Tony Kanaan.
Ferrucci just sitting on the back.
Here's Newgarden.
Here
getting
comes
past
Newgarden.
Kimball.
Getting past Kimball, now starting to march his way forward. He's got to catch Bourdais. How much will Bourdais try to protect his teammate?
Back up front, James Hinchcliffe has got mirrors full of the 21-year-old Santino Ferrucci. Look at this.
He's got to run.
A 6-time race winner in Hinchcliffe, a pole position winner at the Indy 500, is being hounded by the rookie. Let's ride with him.
And look at the hands. Look at how calm and collected the hands are. Total confidence. In upper left, look at Rossi's move. Again, 3 wide. You couldn't put a feeler gauge between Rossi and Pagano.
Pagano fights back. And then Rossi just keeps it on the top side, but couldn't get around up there. Gets a little bit loose. Hunter Ray right here gets a nice run down the front straightaway.
He makes it about 5 wide.
Has to back out of it. Smart move by Hunter Ray, but he gets overhauled by Ed Carpenter.
And he's in a lot of dirty air right here, trying to lay the power down. Makes a move on Marco Andretti, his teammate.
Boy, that was busy. That was so busy.
And we still have to see Connor's on board, which I think we'll get to from that restart, because Daly just absolutely went for it. A Saturday night send it into turn 3, and he had to check up. Let's take a look at this.
This is the Gallagher on board of Conor Daly. I'm coming. Here I come. Here I am.
And he made it work. I mean, he was able to collect the car, and the groove opened up down low, and he had the traction, Paul, down the front straight.
Watch all these replays. Santino Ferrucci is absolutely hounding the back of James Hinchcliffe right now. Got another nice run off the corner. Bourdais not able to do anything, but Santino's looking for a way by. He's definitely faster, and I think he's going to get a good run right here. Look at that.
Hey, you got to run on him now. T4 in him. T4 in him. He's moving around, trying to make him lose his slipstream.
Pancho Carter is his spotter, old school IndyCar sprint car driver, and he's done wonders with this kid, coaching him.
Pancho Carter took Sam Hornish Jr. to some IndyCar championships as the spotter. He's been doing it for such a long time. Both his boys are spotters.
Oh, he's got a good run. Got a good run again.
Looks to the outside. Not an option for Santino Ferrucci. First race here in anything at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway.
It's pretty remarkable, the race cars that Dale Coyne has delivered to his 2 drivers the last few oval races. I mean, you just don't see Ferrucci fighting the car in dirty air. He's running closer to Hinchcliffe than anybody else can run right now at this point in the stint.
He's right there in the corner too. If he gets a nice run down the front straightaway here, that's your best passing opportunity.
This young man has had a couple of 4th place finishes, including last weekend at Pocono. He has never stood on an IndyCar podium, and he is on the lips of many teams for season 2020. He's not confirmed at Dale Coyne yet for next year.
It's early times right now, but he's sniffing at a win tonight.
Could he be a potential driver at the new Arrow McLaren SP? What do you think, Robin Miller?
Well, I said that last week on our telecast, and Zach Brown sent me a text message. He says, I'm watching, I'm listening, he's on our list. But Michael Cannon, the veteran engineer for Santino, said, oh, here he goes, baby, inside. We'll see if he makes it.
He's got it.
The new leader right there, Santino Ferrucci. Anyway, Mike Cannon said, Lee, he's only made 1 change to this car all weekend. He said this kid's a dream to work with, and now he's the leader.
What a move, too. He timed it down the back straightaway. Hinch put the big-time squeeze on him, Townsend, and he just stuffed it in there, turn 3.
And I'm sure Sebastian Bourdais has been watching his young protege up front make those moves, and he has to deal with Newgarden, who's coming strong. So Ferrucci in the clear, out in the lead, and Bourdais runs third, starting to gap just a little bit on Newgarden there.
And guys, sometimes in a season, you know, our memories aren't as good as they should be. I was just thinking to myself, has he led yet this year?
Nope.
And our stats guru, Russ Thompson, just reminded me, these are the first laps this kid has ever led in IndyCar racing. Pardon me, he did lead, at Detroit for a little bit, but on an oval, these are his first lead laps. That's awesome.
With a move like this.
You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Bommarito.com, where Price sells cars, open 24/7. By Honda, an official vehicle of the NTT INDYCAR Series. And by Fifth Third Bank, official partner of Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing. This is banking a Fifth Third better. It's a beautiful 73-degree night here in St. Louis at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, the inaugural IndyCar winner Paul Tracy with you. Robin Miller, Kelly Stavist and Kevin Lee enjoying this night of IndyCar racing under the lights, where rookie Santino Ferrucci leads. And if he stays where he is, he would not only leapfrog his way into the top 10 in the championship points, he would rocket his way to the top of the Rookie of the Year standings.
Well, listen to this radio.
Clear by 12. Let's just settle into a nice pace you're comfortable with. Copy. I think he was driving his Maple Leafs off to stay ahead of you.
So Santino Ferrucci just needs to chill now, Townsend. We were talking about it in the break. He's got almost a 5-second gap. You don't want to run those tires off and then run up on the back of the tail end of the field and then get into a bunch of handling walls.
We're not even halfway, so chill till the next episode. Don't get up to that lap traffic and try to force it. Save your tires and just manage the gap to Hinch, because he's way faster than anybody right now. Ferrucci's been between 2 and 4/10 quicker a lap. He has the race pace. He has the track position. Just settle in.
17 cars on the lead lap. Zach Veach, who we were riding with when we came back from the break, he is the 17th and final car on that lead lap.
The handling has gone away for Hinchcliffe. Now he's faded back to Bourdais, which if Bourdais gets by would give it a Dale Coyne 1-2 up there.
Newgarden might have something to say about it. That blue and white car, he's starting to stalk as Hinchcliffe is sitting behind Matthias Leist, who's a lap down. 3 laps down, in fact, as Piggott to pit lane. That's a little earlier than I would have expected.
Yeah, he had those blistered tires earlier, so he might have blistered another set. Maybe we get another look at that when we get a chance, but he's had some handling issues and burning up those rear tires.
Here's Bommarito Automotive Group, biggest movers of the race. Conor Daly up 8, Erickson's up 8, Kanan. All these guys up 8. Popular number tonight is Carpenter pits as well, Piggott's teammate. So those ECR cars not really getting the mileage on the tires that a lot of the other competitors are able to pull. Let's take a look, Paul. You see anything there?
No blisters this time. So track now rubbering in. Hopefully that's gone away for him, but it's an early stop. But guys are starting to take the pit stops, Kevin.
Graham Rahal is coming in. He's been complaining of the rear tires going away. So on fuel, could have stayed out longer. Coming in a bit earlier this time around for Speedway fuel and fresh Firestones.
Highlight of the night so far for Graham Rahal was meeting Alex Petrangelo, the captain of the St. Louis Blues, the Stanley Cup champions. Graham's a huge hockey fan. He would like things to be going a little bit better on track tonight, for sure. But we've got a long way to run. Only lap 100 of 248.
And I think it's pretty interesting, Paul. Before the race, we talked with Santino Ferrucci. We asked him about the vibration in practice last night. He said, you know what, it's been fine for me. So Kelly, I think Dale Coyne's team has just done a terrific job on setup, because on the long runs, they're strong.
They sure seem to be strong. They've been strong all week, and you got to imagine team owner Dale Coyne here is pretty pleased. And what do you think of the job the rookie is doing so far leading this race?
He's doing great. You know, he's doing good on all the ovals this year, and you know, he smells the front. He's going for it. And Sebastian's in third, so we're having a pretty good night.
Everybody's been talking about the vibrations and trying to kind of hang on. What has it been like for your group so far this weekend?
We've had them too. everybody's getting them as the tires get toward the end of their stint. So we just kind of play it by ear and see when we're going to pit next.
Thank you, Dale.
Well, the gap keeps opening up. He's now up to 7.7 seconds. And he's the only car that's on pace, but there's the difference right there, Townsend, of fresh tires and old tires.
The other thing is you have to be so careful because of the marbles that continue to accumulate on the high line. We've been about 40 laps since that last yellow, since the sweepers were out there, and Ferrucci just has to protect and not get pushed up in a situation like that with Piggott on fresh tires.
What I just saw right there, if there's a late race yellow, tires are going to be super important if we have a yellow inside the last 10 laps.
Look at that. Look at the marbles already, Paul. I mean, it is only a groove and a half up. And if it stays green now, we have 148 more laps.
Boy.
140 more laps of marble accumulation.
We're going to make our prediction.
Here's another set.
Stay green.
Fresh tires right here on Ed
And
Carpenter.
let him go. Santino's got to let him go on the straightaway so he doesn't get stuffed again on corner entry.
Back the fight for second. James Hinchcliffe, Sebastian Bourdais. Newgarden's in fourth. Rosenquist has been really strong. Meanwhile, the work continues on Scott Dixon's car. Scott Dixon came in with an issue, a cooling issue, and the Chip Ganassi squad, just think about what they've done in endurance sports car racing. They're unbelievable on how they can make a fix in a very short space of time. But to have championship contender Scott Dixon take a hit like that so early in this race is really going to hamper his chances to win a 6th title this year.
Hinchcliffe's pulled it back just a little bit, but I think that was because of Santino getting pushed out into those marbles when Piggott went by. And right now Santino is fighting with Ed Carpenter a little bit, so he just needs to maintain this gap because he's got a giant gap here. When we come to the round of pit stop, he'll have plenty of space to get in and out without any stress. Looks like he's that's
Colton Herta. You know, one of the things about marbles is you can't see them. You know they're there, but you can't see them. You really don't know how bad it is until you get into it. Under yellow you can, but at race pace you really don't get a sense for it. And I think what we're going to see is if we go green flag stops here as Rossi comes to pit lane, when the blend battle happens, that's where those marbles are going to potentially come into play as cars maybe go too wide. Coming to you, Kevin.
Well, it has been a dramatic weekend for Alexander Rossi. The car was not to his liking. They tried all kinds of things here in the race, and then they had a gearbox issue right before the start of the race. And I asked the same question you did, Townsend. Did they make a change for performance? No, they had a problem and had to thrash to get it fixed. He said, right now, the car is pretty rough. I'm losing both ends. They made a front wing adjustment, and Rossi is back out.
He locked it up, getting into the box, and slid a little bit close to the wall. Jammed up his pit stop a little bit. It was a little bit slower than we normally see, but here comes Ferrucci on the back straightaway, who's going to lap Rossi right there.
It is Honda Power 1, 2, 3, and championship leader and one-time race leader Joseph Newgarden is in.
So the question I have, does this change his approach here a little bit? Not pushing it too much. A couple of young drivers, well, one young driver in front of him, but all the championship contenders are behind him. One is in the garage. He probably knows, or Tim Cindric does, that Alexander Rossi doesn't have a car that feels all that good right now. Front wing adjustment, Firestone, Speedway, fuel, Newgarden back out, Kelly.
And there you see James Hinchcliffe making his way down pit road. He was starting to struggle with that car. He's had a little bit of understeer at times today. Right now, they're saying they're going to add a little bit of front wing and 4 Firestone tires for James Hinchcliffe.
If I'm Ferrucci, I would start thinking about coming in. You don't want to get caught out like last time and the yellow come out.
Now we're going to see how Hinch blends out here.
All right, let's push hard here.
And where does he come out relative to Newgarden? The answer is quite a ways behind. I think that was Newgarden just went through.
Newgarden went by.
Turn 1, so lost. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Here comes Newgarden.
So status quo there. The undercut didn't work on that one, Kelly.
And that's the 22 of Simon Pagenaud. Overall, he's been pretty happy with the car. It's just really trying to keep those tires under him as he deals with the vibration late in the stints. 4 Firestones and some Speedway fuel for Simon.
Ferrucci still on track, Bourdais on track, Rosenquist now up to third, who hasn't pitted. Erickson has now worked his way with all these stops back up to fourth.
And remember, Erickson is one of those ones like Colton Herter and Conor Daly who are just slightly off sequence with the leading pack. When will Santino Ferrucci come in is the question to be answered.
And I think James Hinchcliffe just had a big issue, or sorry, Newgarden just had a big issue battling with Hinch in turn 4. We talked about the marbles and how these green flag stops could be an issue. We're going to look for the replay as Ferrucci continues to circulate here.
Hunter Ray's been serviced and sent.
Ferrucci's coming in.
Watch this, guys. Looking out the back of Hinch. Here comes, this is exactly what I was talking about. Too wide. Newgarden sends it and he gets up into the gray.
That was lucky. He did not hit. He did hit the wall. He brushed the wall.
So one Penske car is already out of the race. That is Will Power. How close was it for the championship leader? Not quite sure he brushed it, PT, but boy, that was close.
Saw those tire marks on the wall. Thought it was him, Kelly. We got the leader in.
Yep, Santino Ferrucci has made his way to pit road. He says that he wants half a turn of front wing out of that car. Otherwise, he was pretty happy with it.
Colton Herter. Now he's mirroring the leader. Remember, he was slightly off. He wasn't with that lead group. Now he is in step with the race leader as far as Santino Ferrucci. Second coin car is in. Here's Bourdais.
Sebastian Bourdais saying we got to try something to improve this car, so it's going to be half a turn, a front wing out for Sebastian Bourdais along with those 4 Firestones.
Rosenquist now has assumed the lead, and Erickson in second. It's the night of the rookies tonight.
This
with
is
these
great.
guys
Look
leading.
at this. You got Hinchcliffe on the front straightaway. Remember, he was battling with Bourdais. Where do they blend? Hinchcliffe goes by, so Bourdais will drop back. So great sequence with the undercut with Hinchcliffe on Bourdais. He opened up a bigger gap. Excuse me, there's Bourdais. Bourdais gets ahead.
Here is Felix Rosenquist. We saw the Ganassi crew standing out before. So it's Marcus Erickson and Conor Daly first and second, and they are off sequence from the rest. Colton Herter put himself on exactly the same rotation as the then race leader Santino Ferrucci. Hinchcliffe and Bourdais going at it. So if you look a little further down the order and you pick up Ferrucci in fifth, Ferrucci, Bourdais, Hinchcliffe, Sato and Newgarden with that lucky escape. The championship leader now is back on the attack, playing catch-up. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by the all-new Chevy Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. And by NTT, official sponsor and technology partner of the NTT INDYCAR Series. For the third time this evening, the race is under caution and the track is being swept. The reason for the caution, unfortunately, 2 of the 3 yellows are due to Marcus Erickson from the Arrow Schmidt-Peterson team. This is what happened to Marcus up into those marbles, and not the heaviest of contact, but contact with the wall there. Then there's a second slap.
Yeah, I don't know if it broke the toe link or not, but he just got out of the groove, Townsend, up into the marbles, and it slapped the wall, and I think it's broken there.
I don't think so. I think that's how bad the marbles are, because it was a light brush, and here he must be thinking to himself, what's wrong? Like the car won't turn at all, but you're riding basically on marbles.
It's Saturday night dirt track racing.
It really is.
You're out and jump the cushion.
It feels ridiculous, like all the load in the steering disappears.
If you ever wanted to see IndyCars at Eldora, this is it.
Yeah.
Out wide, Marco Andretti gets himself to pit lane under caution. Santino Ferrucci reassumes the lead of this race over his Dale Coyne teammate, Sebastian Bourdais. So we are exactly halfway through this race. Lap 124 of 248. Final oval of the year.
Looks like they're going to try to put a right rear toe link on Erickson to get him back out. Sato and Hunter Ray are away.
as all these pit stops have adjusted. Rossi now has moved up to 5th. But Robin, what's going on down there in the Ganassi pit?
I was talking to Scott Dixon. He said he got a puncture in his radiator on the first lap, and he said it just ran out of water. So they took all this time to change the radiator. He's 59 laps behind, now 60. So I'm not sure he can gain any spots, but he's going back out.
Very hard to get a puncture because you look at the block-offs here. There's very minimal space for anything to get in there, Townsend, because they block these things off so much.
Yeah, but unlike a lot of the ovals we go to here at St. Louis, we've got Support Series running, we've got vintage cars running, also the K&N Series stock cars were running. I picked up a full-on exhaust spring. You saw me on the front straightaway just during opening ceremonies, trying to make sure nobody cut a tire on that. So who knows what could have gotten into the rads on that number 9 Ganassi car. And there's Erickson. They continue to work away.
And again, there's wonderful, as we see the Arrow guys working here on Erickson, there's wonderful cross-pollination within the Ganassi organization, from NASCAR to sports car to IndyCar. There's been guys who bounce around from each of the teams, and I've seen them year in, year out at the Rolex 24 at Daytona, and Chip's guys do an amazing job on those quick fixes. I've seen them do gear clusters on pit road. I've seen them do everything. So unfortunately, that to change a rad on these cars takes a while. They've done that now. Now this is what happened last week at Pocono. Alexander Rossi, another championship contender like Scott Dixon, he was caught up in that 5-car pile-up on the opening lap. They took the car back to the garage. They decided to put a new rear end on it and send him to try and salvage whatever points he could. And that's what's happening with Scott Dixon right now. Riding on board with Alexander Rossi, he's in the top 5 now.
The car was much more in the window that run. I was just focusing on understeer, which is allowing me to run the left front weight where we want, so we're getting there. We've obviously rolled the dice like we talked about. We're just hoping the yellows come at the right time for us now.
Well, this is good news for Rossi, getting the handling under control, because now he's got his sights set on Newgarden, who's going to be just in front of him. And will he make one of those crazy brave moves, Townsend, on the outside after they run these sweepers and blowers? Will he try a move on the outside on Newgarden?
Well, the move he put on Pagano was ridiculously awesome on the last restart, and we know how brave he is and how strong his car control is when he's dancing at the limits and things go a little crazy. It just seems like Rossi can hang on to the bull longer than anyone and make it work.
If it comes his way, it will be quite a remarkable turnaround, because he's been unhappy with the car all weekend long up until now, and you heard him say, we're getting closer to where we need to be. Into the second half of the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 here at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, coming to green. And it's a 21-year-old rookie leading a 4-time series champion. They just so happen to be teammates at Dale Coyne Racing. Look a little further back. Here comes Alexander Rossi. Joseph Newgarden, the championship leader, sees his rival go right around the outside.
And gets both of them. Oh, but he runs up high a little bit. He tried to get Hinchcliffe on the outside, but it didn't work, and now Newgarden fights back.
Here comes Daley again.
Whoa! Big sideways of Pagano on entry.
That was Rosenquist.
That was Rosenquist in that Monster Energy paint scheme for this weekend, but Conor Daly loves throwing it in there into turn 3, and here comes Colton Hurt on Rosenquist.
A couple of rookies going at it.
Track has been cleaned up during that yellow break. You can see the high groove working again. But Rossi has cleared Newgarden, and that is going to help his championship.
One of the 4 main title contenders has had a big blow tonight. That's Scott Dixon. Here's a big blow for Spencer Piggott.
Spencer Piggott's had an ill-handling car all night. Blisters on the first run, early pit stop, and he's hit the wall pretty hard. I think he might be lights out, because he's just rolling down the track there.
No, he's moving.
Visor up.
Visor up. He's moving around. That's good to see. It looked to me as we cut away like he was too wide with somebody. I couldn't tell who it was. Let's take a look at the replay.
Oh, yeah. He went inside
with Kimball,
and it's tight down there. He just was on the apron there below the white line, and it got sideways. A pretty hard hit here in the safer barrier.
Conor Ray knows he backs way out of it. He's just going to watch.
Yeah, he's on the curb and
now commit. Nice job, Ryan Hunter-Ray. When in doubt, both feet out.
Graham Rahall's view.
Low.
Yeah, you can see he's in the grass on the curb. Got
like
squeezed by the Carlin car, and then pretty hard hit there. Why he rolled down across the track, I don't know.
Looked a lot like you and Dario in turn 3 dispute back in the day.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Problem is, you guys were teammates.
Yeah, and I ended up in the wall. Dario finished on the podium.
Double whammy for Spencer Pigot today. His beloved Manchester United going down, and him being knocked out of this race as well. Tangling there with Charlie Kimball, and the race is now under its 4th full course caution. Santino Ferrucci still at the head of the pack. Here is the Rip Current Chevrolet from Carlin Racing. Charlie Kimball, who's had a bit of a tough run here. He's not on the lead lap. Been a bit of a frustrating weekend for Charlie Kimball. As we got another replay of this incident.
Yeah, Charlie's just put the squeeze on him, and really a little bit late in there for Pigot. He was trying, but there just wasn't enough room when Charlie squeezed down, and probably should have just jumped on the brakes harder, like Conor Daly did, just was hard on the brakes.
You got to remember, too, that this track has reminded all these drivers tonight that it's treacherous to go too wide. Even though the sweepers were out on that last yellow, there's still plenty of marbles scattered around on the track. So
I don't think Rossi got that memo.
Yeah, that's for sure.
On the last 2 restarts, he's pulled off some pretty scintillating moves.
The next one for him is going to be Hinchcliffe. He needs to put some distance between himself and Newgarden and keep gaining those championship points, Lee.
Now, while we're under caution, quick reminder, next Sunday, NASCAR's past and present meet again. This is such a fun weekend. It's the throwback weekend. It returns to the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. That's next Sunday again at 6 Eastern right here on NBCSN. And with Cup being off this weekend, there's some additional viewers, including 7-time champ Jimmy Johnson. Hey, Jimmy. Thanks for acknowledging the race and the show tonight. And yes, it is maybe not a totally full house here in St. Louis, but it is a very sizable one. See that grandstand right in the background there? They never even used to open that grandstand, but they had to because of this main grandstand being full. Really great crowd. We got to meet a lot of folks today, and so much enthusiasm about this race in the modern era, being back for the 3rd year in succession. And just a really great vibe. Good weather. The track is very accessible to downtown St. Louis. We're on the other side of the Mississippi, actually in Illinois, but it's an easy drive from downtown. Just a great spot, Kev.
You know, because we've had so many yellows, keep an eye, there is an alternate strategy, and the general feeling was that it's going to be a 4-stopper, but a 3-stopper is now in play for those that came in during the last yellow. 124, Marco Andretti in 10th leads that group. Ryan Hunter-Ray, Takuma Sato, also there. Graham Rahal and Tony Kanaan, who just came in and topped off, also should be pretty good to go. And maybe even Conor Daly, if there are more yellow laps, who last pitted on 120, might be able to get it done on one more. Those up at the front, like Ferrucci, Bourdais, Hinchcliffe, Rossi, Newgarden, likely still going to need 2 more stops unless there's a ton of yellow. So it's still going to get interesting.
I think guys, from Conor Daly back to come and top it up, it's really difficult for Ferrucci or Bourdais to really give up the track position. But from 5th, 6th on back, I think you got to take the fuel and take that gamble and play the fuel mileage game.
If there's an unofficial award that can be given tonight, that is for the best entry into turn 3. It goes to Conor Daly on 2 occasions.
Oh, yeah.
He just fires it on in there as we see the Speedway lap leaders. 50 laps led by Newgarden. That was in the opening stanza of the race. Ferrucci has almost matched him. Hinchcliffe's got 20. Colton Herter had 10. And Marco Andretti most recently led 4 laps. I tell you what, if the Indianapolis 500 wasn't enough to convince some teams out there about Conor Daly, I think tonight is, again, this whole weekend. He was quickest in night practice last night. There it is, the blue Gallagher Chevrolet for Carlin Racing. To Max Chilton's dad and also to Trevor Carlin. Credit to those gentlemen for putting this guy in the car when Max Chilton's no longer racing the ovals, and Conor has represented Gallagher Insurance and Carlin Racing and himself very, very well.
Well, and the great folks at the United States Air Force, the men and women that serve there that are 100% behind Conor Daly, they're also going to make sure he finishes up the season at Laguna Seca in a 5th Andretti car, Robin. So things are really trended well for Conor Daly.
Think about this, T-Bell. When we were in Texas, Conor's first 2 practice sessions, he said, I cannot feel the back of the car. We're nowhere. I don't know these guys. They don't know what I want. Think how far they've come and how good this kid's run this year in this car for these guys, not to mention what he did in Indianapolis. So I think Trevor's going to take a long look at maybe making him a full-time guy next year, maybe with a little help from Air Force. We'll just have to see. I know he loves the Andretti team, and so does Air Force, but I don't think they're going to run 6 cars. It's just, here's a guy that's proved himself beyond a shadow of a doubt. He's a good racer. He's a good technical race driver, and I think that's what's really going to be his strength. And Zach Brown, I think Zach Brown is also looking at him.
So there's lots of positives for the future heading into season 2020 for Conor Daly. And this won't be his last race of the year, as already has been discussed. He'll be at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
This is restart here with Conor Daly as he goes in, and that's a jam on the brakes. If you saw that from the outside, the brakes were glowing red as he jumped on it, and then he got back on the throttle, got another run down the front straightaway.
Daly raced here 2 years ago, started 11th, finished 5th. He started 18th tonight and is running 6th. How about that for progress?
This is going to be a wild restart, I think.
They always
I think
are.
Rossi's going to try to make another move and try to get rid of Hinchcliffe and then go to work on Bourdais.
What happens if Daly can clear Newgarden and get to Rossi? And Daly puts another Send It Saturday into turn 3 on Rossi.
Well, they're best of friends, so.
So Spencer Pigot is the second driver out of this race through crashing into the wall. By the way, race control looked at the incident between Spencer Pigot and Charlie Kimball. No further action. Robin, take it away.
Spencer, can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, it's obviously a tough end of the day. You know, I had a really good run on Charlie. He blocked pretty aggressively going into 3, and, you know, I thought I was far enough alongside to at least warrant a little bit of room, a little bit of respect, but, you know, I guess not. He just kind of turned in, and, you know, I think he was even a lap down as well. It was late, but, you know, he saw me coming, so I guess kind of a racing deal, but definitely thought, you know, I deserved a bit more space.
Pretty hard hit. You okay?
I was fine, yeah, thanks.
All right, sorry. Lee?
Yeah, bummer for Spencer Pigot. Getting ready to go back to green. Santino Ferrucci and Dale Coyne teammate Sebastian Bourdais running second. It's been a long time since we've seen Coyne cars run 1-2 at the front of an IndyCar race. This is a really special night, not only for Dale Coyne, but for Jimmy Vasser and James Sullivan as well on the Bourdais car. Let's go back to green, here under the lights. Watch the third car. Zach Veach making a move. Alexander Rossi on the inside of Hinchcliffe.
And Rossi makes it work up the inside. Newgarden now is going to have a run, and back there's Rosenquist and Daly side by side.
Zach Veach tried to make a move on Bourdais, and he's still trying on the back straight, and they're banging wheels down the back straight.
Veach is trying to get his lap back. He's trying to get back onto the lead lap. He's up to second now. He's trying to work on Ferrucci to get back onto the lead lap. That was sketchy. Here comes Rossi.
How Bourdais didn't lose it there, but Newgarden now on the outside. James holds tight, backs off a little bit, but the action up front with Bourdais and Veach was incredible.
Look at Daly. Daly's got a run now on Rosenquist. This is Daly's corner. He likes entry speed here. Let's see what he does. He fires it in once again.
The turn 3 master at Gateway is Conor Daly. And Colton Herter is in the mix on fellow rookie Rosenquist again. Watch the white car pop out.
Herter gets a run down the front straightaway. Perfectly timed, perfectly executed into turn 1.
all these young Americans showing their stuff here at Gateway on the short oval. Rosenquist now under pressure from Pagano.
Veach is trying to unlap himself. He came in, topped up, and put fresh tires on, so that's going to show you later in the race, fresh tires. Ferrucci just needs to let him go and chill out here. He's not racing. He just put himself back on the lead lap, so don't worry about him, Santino.
Here's that exchange between Bourdais and Veach. No, you don't.
The one down in turn 3 was the one here. Watch as they come down the back straightaway. Veach goes around the outside, and Bourdais was flat sideways in the middle of the corner right here. Watch this.
Still there, still there, still there. Clear.
The crazy thing is, guys, Veach last pitted on 118. He did not top up on that yellow, so he's on used tires. Zach Veach just deciding this is my chance to get back on the lead lap. He pulls it off, and if a yellow comes now, Veach is going to have a chance to be right back in the hunt.
Rossi's on the move now. Look, he's been improving the car, and now he's on the podium and looking to move forward.
Championship leader Joseph Newgarden staying in touch with championship rival Rossi, then Hinchcliffe, then Daly, who runs a strong 6th. Herder, Rosenquist, Pagano, and Hunter Ray. Updated points as they run. Rossi within 34 of Newgarden.
Rossi's goal all season long has been finish ahead of Newgarden. That's been the guy he's watching every lap, every race, and right now, he's right ahead by 1 position.
And Townsend, I talked with Alex about that, and he said that has been the philosophy, but that changed starting right now. Finishing 1 spot, 2 spots in front of Newgarden isn't good enough because there are others in play. That's changed a little bit because Dixon takes a big hit in the championship, and Simon Pagano is still not too far behind. I don't think Rossi felt like he had a car coming in that would have a great chance to win, but they took a gamble, and obviously it's coming to life as it gets darker and cooler. Rossi is still in play to potentially be able to win this race.
They threw everything but the kitchen sink at it overnight in terms of setup, and then had an issue on the grid and had to throw a gear stack at it 10 minutes before the start of the race. And this car, Townsend, has come alive in the last couple pit stops.
Woodbury, Connecticut, Santino Ferrucci in the Clydell Honda. It's a Connecticut-based company that sponsored this kid ever since he was about 12 years old. He's now leading an IndyCar race. And Santino Ferrucci, who has led 66 laps in this race, continues to look rock solid up front over Sebastian Bourdais. Alexander Rossi is pretty close to Bourdais now, starting to hassle him for that 2nd spot. And championship leader Joseph Newgarden over James Hinchcliffe, Conor Daly, and rookie Colton Herder. Here's Rossi. To think about his words last night, that this Napa Honda is not where it needs to be and not how it doesn't feel how it should. To now see him threatening in the top 3 is a massive turnaround and huge credit to the team. Kelly?
We go back up to the top of the field in those 2 Dale Coyne racing cars. Santino Ferrucci over Sebastian Bourdais, and the team telling Bourdais that he needs to stick with Ferrucci ahead of him while still hitting his fuel numbers. And Seb came over the radio and said, well, I can't do both. So trying to do is keep up with his teammate, find that speed while also hitting those fuel numbers. A little bit of a task here for Seb.
Yeah, these guys that are going to try to do it on one more stop right now, Townsend, that's a bit of a stretch with the speed they're running. I don't know if it's going to happen, especially if there's another yellow, and we've seen how important tires are.
I was going to say, not to mention the tires. I would expect we'll see the leaders here coming to the pits maybe around lap 165, 170, but then they'll probably need to stop again unless there's a crazy amount of yellow. But those Coyne cars have been strong, I think, because of tire wear and their ability to manage the tire wear over the long stint.
Ferrucci hasn't been able to pull away from Bourdais like he did earlier and make that big gap. So he's got a whole train of cars behind him here, and Veach has kind of taken off on this whole group. You know, we see Veach at start-finish there.
Bourdais
nice run of Bourdais here.
We talk a lot about the French drivers of Bourdais and Pagenaud, but there's a French engineer on that Dale Coyne team named Olivier Busson, who does the damper program. As you see Zach Veach trying to fight his way to the tail end of that lead lap. And Olivier Busson is a guy that does nothing but work on dampers over at Dale Coyne Racing. He's one of the smartest guys in the paddock, and I think all the hard work that they've put in is really starting to pay off at Dale Coyne and Coyne-Vassar Sullivan, because Bourdais in the closing laps of this tire stint is looking every bit as strong as Ferrucci.
Yeah, dampers nowadays are so important, and we've seen the turnaround at Carlin Racing with Conor Daly back here. When they switched dampers back in Toronto, it's transformed the whole team in terms of performance.
Zach Veach has done a nice job of clearing out, hasn't he? There he is, right at the top of your screen there. If a yellow comes out, it's going to sit pretty for him. He's changed engineers recently. He now has Mark Bryant engineering his car. There he is in the Gainbridge Honda. And Mark Bryant was on Marco Andretti's car for the majority of the year. They changed at Pocono, and perhaps that's a positive change. Zach's starting to look pretty quick here, and a yellow will put him right back in the mix. He's on the lead lap, but needs to catch back up to this group.
Paul, every year here I call this the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Things kind of settle in. There's about 75 laps to go, but this Chevy driver update tells the story for Newgarden, Daly, Pagenaud. Look at Daly, up 12 positions. And you just know that with 2 more stops left, there's a lot of action, a lot of drama that's still coming our way.
Track is continuing to cool as we get later into the night. Marbles have been an issue, so if we don't get any more yellows, but we got some radio on Newgarden, let's hear how his car's handling.
Well, what's the number? It doesn't matter now. We can't make the number. They might be able to.
Well, if we can't make the number, don't we got to do something different?
Yeah, but if you can't pass them, then we just go as far as we can and hope for a yellow.
It's the conversation between Team Penske's president, Tim Cindric, who calls the shots on Joseph Newgarden's car. And when they say making a number,
yeah,
Paul, elaborate on that.
Little confusion there. Newgarden's trying to make a number to do it in one stop, and Cindric said, we're not making it. So it is what it is. You've either got to pass these guys or settle in, and they'll just go as long as they can.
Now, Newgarden pitted last on lap 109. Ferrucci on 115, 116 for Bourdais. So perhaps Ferrucci and Bourdais, with 8 more laps, 9 more laps in the bag over Newgarden, maybe they can stretch it, but I doubt it.
And Newgarden is 2 laps to the better in comparison to Rossi as far as his last stop as well. Kevin, what do you have?
I don't think Tim Cindric is worried about the cars in front of him. I think he's worried about the cars behind, like this one. Ryan Hunter-Reay and the Auto Nation on board. Hunter-Reay pitted on 124, and Ray Gosselin just said, we are committed to this strategy. They are trying to save and get it done on one more. I don't think those that pitted before 124 are going to be able to make it home. And I know, for example, Conor Daly, who pitted on 120, they said, we're only sort of thinking about that. I think they feel like they need a yellow to finish it.
The thing with fuel mileage is you can't be indecisive. You have to commit at the start of the stint to save the fuel. If you don't do that, you have no chance.
I'll tell you, a lot of laps on these Dale Coyne cars tires, and they're still got good pace. So Ferrucci starting to just edge away from Rossi. These 2 Dale Coyne cars here starting to edge away from that group, even though their tires are older. I think Sebastian is plenty happy to just sit here and ride behind his teammate.
Little bit of honest self-analysis. How were you 2 at saving fuel? I sense there may have been some impatience.
Well, I had to do it at Road America and IMSA a few weeks ago, and I had Jimmy Vasser on the radio telling me, go as fast as you can, make sure you stay in front of that Ferrari. I need you to save a crazy amount of fuel. And that's the frustrating part, especially when you're on an oval, because saving fuel on a track like this, Paul, you've got to coast, and at 165, 170 miles an hour, coasting is not good.
It's easier for the guy that's behind. For Sebastian Bourdais, he's right there in the draft. It's a lot easier for him to save a little bit of extra fuel, but for Ferrucci out front, he's just doing everything he can do, Kelly.
Yeah, and basically the team has now told Sebastian Bourdais, hey, if you don't start hitting this fuel number, then you are going to have to make an extra stop to the competitors around you. So he continues to kind of hit that mark while keeping up with Santino ahead of him. And the team has really told both these guys to back down the pace a little bit because they need to stretch that fuel, ideally trying for just one more stop.
Well, I guess they're going to try for it. So this is going to get real interesting whether they can get there or not.
The advantage really is to Bourdais because he was on lap 116, Ferrucci on 115, and Bourdais has the draft of Ferrucci to help him. So what Bourdais can do is on these straightaways, he can start to peel back on the throttle and just add the throttle he needs to maintain the straightaway gap, and nothing more, nothing less.
Alexander Rossi is in. So that tells us part of the story. So too is James Hinchcliffe. Rossi, who really stretched things last year. He did it on 3 stops after pitting on lap 123 last year. So maybe his Andretti Autosport teammates are taking something from that. Hunter Ray and Andretti for this year. Kel?
James Hinchcliffe giving up the 5th position to come to pit road. They're going to make a front wing adjustment for him as well as those 4 Firestone tires, Kev.
And I think this also probably tells us that Ferrucci and Bourdais likely are going to need to come in the next 6 to 8 laps, which would not be enough to be able to make it home. James Hinchcliffe just beats out Alexander Rossi, Simon Pagenaud, Colton Herta also rolling up the pit road.
That's not what Rossi wanted to see there, so we're going to see all the yellows have happened on these in and out laps so far. Newgarden to the pits.
So he's going to need one more stop unless there's a lot of yellow. I was thinking about 188 is what you needed to be able to get to make it home the rest of the way. Front wing adjustment, the championship leader is back out.
Let's see where he cycles out with Rossi. Does he get ahead of Rossi? I think he is going to get ahead of him. Easily.
Yep, easily.
So they got bottled up in some traffic here, and they've just lost ground to Newgarden. That's a double whammy for Rossi. He's lost 2 positions as Felix Rosenquist peels in.
Been a solid performance from Rosenquist tonight, but he got hustled on a few corners there, so he'll be looking for a strong final 1 or 2 stints.
And even though every oval is this different, he said, I take something from each one that applies. And remember, he came off that nasty crash at Pocono, so he said, I took it a little bit easy. Coming into this weekend, felt great going after it. He's been dealing with a little bit of understeer in 3 and 4. Rosenquist also should need one more stop.
Daly is flying. Whoa! Daly's flying right now.
Rossi on Hinch. Rossi makes a bold move. He has urgency right now. He knows I've got to stay close to Newgarden. I can't let him outscore me on points this race.
These guys are all bottled up in traffic, but I'm watching Conor Daly has now closed the gap to the leaders, and he's turning fast laps. When he pits, will he cycle in front of these guys? But here's the run on the front straightaway by Rossi, perfectly timed. Hinchcliffe tries to protect, puts him down in the wall. They're supposed to be buddies going to Bathurst.
No buddies when you're talking St. Louis Saturday night. I think Hinch thought I'm far enough over. There's nowhere for Rossi to go. Watch this. Rossi says, oh, there's plenty of room. Elbows out. Good night.
Still there.
This traffic they're being held up by Kanan here as we cycle around is good news for Daly, bad news for them.
Simon Pagenaud has tagged onto the back of James Hinchcliffe, and here comes Colton Herta as well. We go on.
Look at this.
The Gallagher Chevrolet for Carlin, and this is Conor Daly. The gap is now less than a second to Sebastian Bourdais.
What a night Conor Daly has had. He's been fast. Qualifying was unlucky. He had to go out on a dirty track, and he is right there in the top 3 on the same pit sequence as the leaders. And it's all right here for the taking.
And he's going to run a couple laps longer than these guys because he pitted later, so he's got fresher tires than this group. He might, on the overcut, be able to wrangle the lead if he has a clean pit stop.
Ferrucci, Bourdais, Daly. And then Ryan Hunter-Ray in 4th, who we know is going to try and stretch this on just one more stop.
Pagenaud and Hinch going at it with Colton Herta right there. Felix Rosenquist.
Rosenquist gets a run on Herta.
Oh boy, 2 rookies going big.
He's going to try the outside. We got some marbles out there, but he wisely backs off.
Pagenaud was still with all eyes on Hinchcliffe. Check this out. Hinchcliffe goes right to the pit wall.
Hinchcliffe deciding, you know what, I need to make sure the door's closed so nobody kicks it open.
He's in the gray. He's going to slide all the way up the track. Look at all the ground he lost there.
Simon Pagenaud.
And his tires aren't going to be fully clean when he gets to turn 3, so he's going to have to soft pedal it here and make sure he gets to the low line. Look at how careful he is. Hands working furiously there. Now he's able to get back up to speed, but it is a huge time loss.
And has lost the whole front straightaway.
He's gone to 16th place.
Guys, I don't know. If Ferrucci and Bourdais can hang on for about 10 laps, they might be able to make it on one more stop. Daly's in. Big pit stop for this team.
And Conor Daly has said a good result doesn't do us a whole lot of good. We are here to try to win the race, not just because of my confidence level, the team's as well. A full turn of front wing for Conor Daly, hoping it plays out with a little bit of help. He can make it home, but he's definitely going to need a caution to get it without another stop.
Not a great start. Yeah, not a great start on that one.
I don't know, we'll find out. Just try to get him.
Yeah, not a great pit stop. It was almost 9 seconds, so we'll see where he files out. He's got Beach in front of him.
Seeing James Hinchcliffe on screen here, race control is reviewing the Hinchcliffe-Pagenaud altercation from a couple of laps ago.
I don't see anything wrong with what Hinch was doing there. That's proactive, defending up the inside. Maybe we didn't see this replay. Let's watch this again.
Definitely put the squeeze on him. Yeah, that's
it's hard
not
to tell
kind.
from that angle. You really need the straightaway shot, I think. Yeah, that's a pretty good squeeze. That's a pretty good squeeze.
Let's see where Conor Daly comes out in the pits here.
Top two are coming in. Kelly standing by.
And Santino Ferrucci being reminded time and again not to speed. He has now led 97 laps of this race, and out in clean air, he says that car really feels good. So it's going to be 4 Firestone tires for his teammate, Sebastian Bourdais. He asked for half a turn of front wing out of his car, and he'll also have some fresh rubber to work with.
I don't know why they
had a problem getting the fuel in.
But they left Ferrucci on the jacks, too. The fueler pulled out, and Ferrucci's car was still in the air.
Yeah, we got a replay of that. The fueler took him a couple stabs to get it in, and there goes Rossi by. That pit stop was disastrous. The overcut didn't work because of the tire. Look, the front tire problem. Watch the fueler.
Oh, he pulls. The right rear wasn't done.
They had issues everywhere. Under pressure, man. Front tire, rear tire, fueler.
That is a kick in the gut for Santino Ferrucci.
He's behind Conor Daly now, too. As well, I think that's Conor right up there in front of him. So a disastrous stop.
Rossi got ahead on that.
But on the rotation, if you go down a few in the order, Joseph Newgarden ahead of Rossi, ahead of Bourdais, ahead of Daly and Ferrucci. When this shuffles out in the sequence, what about...
But, Lee...
Oh!
Whoa!
Bourdais spins and breaks the rear suspension as it goes around. I don't know if that's... Oh, he hit the wall up there, it looks like.
In the marbles.
I know you're all right there, bud. I have no idea what happened. No idea.
I don't know if he brushed the wall or the suspension broke. Got a lot of things going on all at once. Cars are in the pits at the same time.
I was just about to say that even though Newgarden is ahead of Ferrucci, he's going to need some yellow to make it, and then this happens to give him that yellow.
He brushed the wall.
Bourdais just gets high.
Yeah, brushed the wall, bent the suspension, and then it broke as he spun. Beach barely misses him.
Who was that on the low side? Somebody went right up against the
Ferrucci.
Whoa, what a
another amazing
This guy is
escape.
unbelievable.
He's done it again.
Man, that makes me nervous, though. Look at Conor Daly. Everybody's slowing up, and Ferrucci finds a gap and just punches it.
Again, he uses the throttle as his friend and gets by. What a shame for Sebastian Bourdais. Awesome qualifying. Started on the front row. It was grinning ear to ear last night. It was terrific to see the veteran so pumped up, and he's been in the mix all race long.
This really helps Newgarden. I don't know if he can make it, but he would need yellow, and he's getting it right now.
Yellows breed yellows, so we're going to see a lot of action on the restart with Newgarden and Rossi now are the effective leaders.
Will Power is out of the race. Spencer Pigot is out of the race. And now the veteran, the 4-time champ, Sebastian Bourdais, joins that list. You're watching NBCSN's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. And by Bommarito.com, where price sells cars. Open 24/7. All right, gearing up for a thrilling finish. We told you right at the beginning of the show, even in our pre-race show, this race just has the characteristic of early in the race, mid-race, it kind of gets into a rhythm and it looks like it's in a set order. But boy, is the closing stanza of this race always thrilling, and it's shaping up like that once again. Varied pit strategies here. Takuma Sato dives for the lane. He was up the top, but it's been a long time since he pitted, so he needed to come in for fuel. There's others joining him, including Tony Kanaan, Ed Carpenter. Let's go down to pit road. We join Kevin Lee for the time being. Kev?
So Takuma Sato, that yellow hurt him. He actually was going to be in position to probably do it on one more stop. Now he's going to cycle back for those that have already made their final stop. But the scenarios are getting really interesting. And one of those that I think is going to come in, yeah, here comes Joseph Newgarden down the way. So he was one of those that probably wasn't going to make it unless there was a ton of yellow. So Tim Cindric said, you know what, let's go ahead and make sure we can get home the rest of the way. Plus Joseph said, my car is getting worse throughout the night. You see the front wing change, also a rear air pressure adjustment. Newgarden hoping that car will come back to life and he can race his way back through the pack.
I think that's a championship decision from the #2 team to mitigate the risk of having to pit under green at the end.
I talked about it last week. That's called laying it up, just making sure you can get to the end. But can Rossi do what he did last year and just save that fuel and coast it around? Newgarden's now cycled his way back in the pack here, and he's got to make moves to get back up to the front.
So there's a bunch of guys who have pitted a lot later than others, like Marco Andretti on lap 190, Conor Daly, Santino, Ferrucci, 185 and 188 respectively. Ryan Hunter-Reay pitted on 189, and Graham Rahal on lap 190. So they're good to go. We will follow this and walk you through it as we get back to green. Now, quick reminder, Thursday, September 5th, the 100th season of the NFL kicks off on NBC with the league's most storied rivalry, the Packers and Bears, and then defending Super Bowl champion Patriots host the Pittsburgh Steelers on the premiere of Sunday Night Football, only on NBC. Have you caught the NFL news just tonight? Stunning news, really, and a lot of people in this IndyCar paddock will be pretty devastated at the news that Colts quarterback Andrew Luck, at just 29 years of age, has announced his retirement from the NFL.
Shocking. That's a career cut too short. A big friend, big enthusiast of the IndyCar Series. We've seen him at Indianapolis for practice and waving the green flag, I believe. So sorry to hear the news there, Mr. Luck.
There's another retirement, not from his career, but from this race. That is Scott Dixon. There he is. The Iceman is out. The 5-time and reigning series champion. Hold radiator on the opening lap. Force the Ganassi squad to take the PNC Bank Honda back to the garage, change rads, but he's in a position where he can't make up any more positions right now, so there's no point to just keep grinding around.
Wave around happening, track cleanup going on. They're cleaning off this track, blowing it off, so we're going to have another second groove for these guys to work on this restart. But right now, look at the back of the field here. Newgarden has decided that they are going to take the fuel and try to do this on one more, but he's got a lot of cars to pass.
48 laps to go. It's been 5 cautions in this Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Been an eventful night under the lights. The final oval race of the year.
And we need to update what's going on here, because Sato, Kanaan, and Carpenter and Newgarden all benefited because they were able, what they did is they lapped Rossi and Ferrucci when they pitted under green. They put those guys a lap down, and then they got lucky and pitted under yellow. So right now you're looking at the race leader on the right strategy, on fresh tires, on the right fuel. How in the world did that play out so well? That's what happens on a short oval when you pit under green or you get lucky under yellow.
And let's not forget the fact that Takuma Sato started 5th, had a horrible opening stint and went to last, and has worked his way back up onto the lead lap and into the lead of this race.
This is going to be a wild restart because Tony Kanaan has got a sniff here at a win. And you can see just by the attitude of how close he's following Sato that he's going to try to make a move on this restart. He's one of the best restarters in the game.
Wow.
And Newgarden's where he wants to be, ahead of Alexander Rossi, championship rival.
And Newgarden has 20 laps fresher tires. As now, these guys all come in for fresh tires as well, Paul. Everybody wants to take advantage of this restart. Oh no, Colton Herta comes off the stand. The right rear wasn't done.
Yeah, that's going to cost them all these positions right here. Everybody leaving. He'll be the last to leave.
Hinchcliffe service quickly. Rosenquist is out, beats Simon Pagenaud off pit road. Erickson is next, and then a frustrated Colton Herta. That stop took a little longer than he would have hoped.
Rossi, Ferrucci, Daly, these guys we don't think can make it the rest of the way.
Let's join Robin Miller with Sebastian Bourdais.
Seb, hell of a run tonight. Second most of the night. 1-2 for Coyne. You know what happened?
No, I mean, I haven't seen the replay, but I just threw it away. I mean, regardless of what happened, I mean, I think I got it down to the apex in turn 3, and yeah, I mean, the front took off. I didn't feel like I was trying very hard, but I guess I wasn't aggressive enough with the tools to counter the understeer and the fact that the rear tires always kind of come in earlier than the fronts, especially when it cools off at night like that. And I just threw it away for that Sealmaster on number 18 and the Alcon Racing with Vasson Sullivan. It's just that's a hard one.
All right, thanks Seb.
Yeah, he knew one got away there. It was a really fabulous night for the 4-time IndyCar champion. Not to be.
One to go.
Huge break for Sato, Carpenter, and Newgarden.
These guys at the front right now, they're tough cats to pass. Sato, Kanaan, Carpenter, they are not going to want to give up this position, so it's going to be interesting to see what Rossi does if he tries to make a move on Newgarden.
I don't know if he has the tires to do it, but I think he's going to try.
So, after getting themselves a lap up on the others and then pitting under yellow, Takuma Sato, Tony Kanaan, Ed Carpenter find themselves 1, 2, and 3 ahead of the championship leader, coming back to green with 44 laps left to run in this Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Newgarden pops out of the line. He wants to go on the inside of his old team boss, and here comes Rossi again. Newgarden hangs tough though and says, not this time.
Oh, look at Santino Ferrucci around the outside of Zach Beach. Ferrucci is mad. He wants that lead back.
He's going to make a move on Rossi if he gets down there on the inside. Conor Daly again on the inside with the brakes glowing. Kanaan hanging tough. Look at this group of cars. These guys at the back are on new tires. Marco Andretti and Conor Daly banging wheels on the front straightaway.
Somebody's all over the apex. That's James Hinchcliffe almost getting backwards.
And Pagenaud and Hinchcliffe.
What's the 4-car doing?
Wild stuff on this opening lap of the restart. Everyone diving and jostling for position. The Arrow Schmidt-Peterson teammates are together. But it's Takuma Sato who leads Tony Kanaan and Ed Carpenter.
And Sato's checking out.
Checking out. Kanaan there is going to try to hang on to that second place.
Don't forget that Sato qualified 5th, struggled mightily on the opening stint, went all the way to the back, but then kind of hung in there.
Here comes Newgarden, got a run on Carpenter. He looks to the outside. You've got your contender behind you. Don't need to remind you about Mid-Ohio, but he's got the guys he needs behind him, and he's on fresher tires.
Santino Ferrucci running 6th. That's Alexander Rossi just up the road.
You won't be happy with that after leading nearly 100 laps.
Here's a replay of the Hinch-Hunter Ray battle. Hinch going up the inside, Hunter Ray coming down, and I don't think Hunter Ray would have known Hinch was there.
Threading the needle, Simon Pagenaud. But look at Ferrucci has gotten by Rossi.
That's a terrific move on used tires. Ferrucci and Rossi both on used tires, and I think Rossi has got to save as much fuel as he can probably to make it to the end.
Championship leader is the next on Ferrucci's list.
Yeah, Rossi's now got to go in save mode. There's really nothing he can do. These guys at the front have topped up fresh tires, and he has no bullets to fight with.
Look at this, Ferrucci's made quick work of catching
up, yeah.
Sato the race leader, Kanaan 2nd, Carpenter 3rd, Newgarden 4th, Ferrucci 5th. All bar the guy in the blue and white PPG Chevrolet. The rest of them are all saying, I'd like to check off a victory here. Here comes Ferrucci.
Ferrucci pops out. Newgarden fades him, does the Pruitt fade down the back straightaway.
And this is where
keep your momentum up.
Newgarden has to be reminded of where he stands relative to Rossi. Right now, as they run.
Oh, what a run!
Oh no, he's up in the gray. Ferrucci hangs on.
Keep up with him, keep up with him.
He was
fast. He took my air.
He took my air, the words from Ferrucci.
Nobody promised you air, young man.
He's gonna fight his way back up there.
He's so hard.
Newgarden definitely being held up by Carpenter. Carpenter's going to want to hang on to that podium spot.
We're going to duck away for one final break. When we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag. It's a busy time, although we're nearing the end of the NTT INDYCAR Series for 2019. Yep, 3 weeks in a row. Pocono last week, right here now at Gateway, and next Sunday, we're in the Pacific Northwest for the Grand Prix of Portland. Coverage begins at 3 o'clock Eastern, and that's on NBC. Can't wait to be back at Portland International Raceway. 2 road tracks to finish the season off. All right, as we welcome you back, we're going to go through the field with thanks to the Bommarito Automotive Group. Kev?
Well, what a turn this could be for Takuma Sato after being the center of controversy from the beginning of the race crash at Pocono to now in position to win here. And remember, he slid back early in the race, but that got him off sequence, which allowed him to stretch that last fuel stint and helped him get in this spot. He does not need to pit again. Sato is in control. Tony Kanaan also was benefited by getting out of sequence out a little bit, running in second. Last time he finished on the podium more than 2 years ago when he's with Ganassi, finishing second at Texas. His best finish in 2 years with AJ Foyt Racing is 6th, Kelly.
Ed Carpenter now in podium position. He said they unloaded this car way too far outside the box, but got better and better. This is his last race of the season, and he was motivated to end it on a high note. They've been a little bit lucky with the cautions, but he's in good position, Kev.
Joseph Newgarden is in position to be able to expand his championship lead because Alexander Rossi is still behind him, so he could go from 36 to 41 as it runs right now. Newgarden right behind Carpenter running in 4th, Kelly.
And then there's the electric Santino Ferrucci, the rookie who has led 97 laps of this race. Right now the team is telling him just to focus forward. They feel like the guys ahead of them will struggle a little bit more with that vibration we keep talking about. They say they'll come back to you, just hang in there.
one of the reasons Joseph Newgarden might feel content to ride where he's at and not take big risks is because Alexander Rossi is probably going to need a caution to make it home. He did not come in and top off, so he's about 14 and in some cases more than 20 laps short of fuel of those in front of him. So he is in super duper save mode right now, trying to nurse it home and maintain where he's at in the championship. Farther behind him, about 5 seconds back, we'll see Conor Daly now just coming into view. He was really upset with Matthias Laced in front of him, a lap car not long ago, and he was told, hey, he's protecting his teammate Kanan right now. So Conor having another fantastic drive here tonight. Circumstances could have even been better because he's had a strong car. And Kelly, there's Simon Pagenaud taking a look at him.
Yeah, Simon Pagenaud sounds a little bit frustrated on the radio right now. Remember, he's trying to stay in that championship hunt, entered this race 41 points behind teammate Joseph Newgarden. He told me he has never been more energized, determined, and focused. Best season of his career, he said, by winning the Indy 500. He wants to do nothing more than cap it off with the championship.
And Pagenaud has been carving his way through this field, but has kind of hit a pause as the MyJack Honda of Graham Rahal is on pit road.
Laps winding down quick. We're down to 20 to go, Kevin, and we hear the 27 is coming.
There he is.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem with Rahal is, but I just heard something broken right before he pitted, and obviously the Rossi camp has figured out it would take a lot of yellow. Let's go ahead and get in now, try to run some fast laps and make our way back through because he was saving so much. He was giving up all kinds of spots on the track.
It's going to cost him a lap and a half, or maybe almost 2 laps. Have a little bit of problem on the outside front, a 7-1 stop, but this is disastrous now.
Yep, power swings massively in Newgarden's favor as far as the complexion of the championship. And speaking of the championship, Scott Dixon was hoping to get a 6th championship this year. It became even tougher tonight, as he tells Kelly.
Well, the incredible string of races for Scott Dixon unfortunately comes to an end tonight with that puncture in the radio. Scott, I suppose just a disappointing night overall.
Yeah, just really, bum for the team. The car was actually really good, especially latter part of the stint. We really came on. I think another lap or two we would have passed Pagenaud. Had a good start there. The car felt strong. So, just feel bad for the whole team. And hopefully, I don't want to wish any bad luck on the competition, but, hopefully, Joseph or one of those guys don't win, to make it unachievable. But we'll see where it goes. It seemed like a fun night out there tonight.
2 races to go now. I suppose it's time to really turn up the wick for these next 2.
That's all we can do. We've got to really go for wins here. We've been saying that all along, and we've had some pretty good runs here. So we'll just we'll put our head down, as I said. I think had we been able to show the potential of the car, we would have been looking good tonight. But it just wasn't meant to be. Cheers.
Wasn't meant to be for Scott Dixon.
Well, it's been smooth sailing for Sato these last 30 laps, but look at this. Pagenaud gets past Conor Daly. And up front, Sato has Kanan closing now because Sato is being held up by James Hinchcliffe, who's fighting to try to stay ahead, although he's a lap down right now. There's Hinch, there's Sato.
Yeah, just a little bit of pressure on Kanan from Carpenter, but that gap is closed down from almost a 1.5 seconds down to now 0.7 of a second. So this thing's tightening up. I mean, tire wear's coming in to be an issue now. But Sato could also be content to just sit here and ride it out with 14 laps to go.
He'll be checking his mirrors at every corner exit, trying to figure out if Kanan's kind of struggling to just stay there. As Ferrucci now,
he gets him. What a move. Again,
keep it tucked, and he does.
Ferrucci still has a great shot here. Nobody's been stronger on long runs than Ferrucci in terms of managing the tire wear. The setup seems strong. With 13 laps to go, is it enough time for Ferrucci to get back to the front?
He's going for a podium. His best finish of his career is a 4th. He wants a trophy, and he's going to attack Ed Carpenter. We've got a long way to go, 13 laps to go, so there's going to be some action here.
Big headline coming into this weekend's race. Wasn't necessarily about tonight's race. It was about last week and the opening lap 5-car pileup involving Ryan Hunter-Reay, Alexander Rossi, and Takuma Sato. Watch for the white car crashing across the white, yellow, and red car there. And there were 5 cars in total. Felix Rosenquist and James Hinchcliffe as well. And Sato ended up upside down when they all came to rest, it took championship contender Alexander Rossi out, and this was spectacular. It was scary. It was lap 1 of 200 laps at Pocono, and thankfully all the drivers were okay. Our producer Rich O'Connor, Paul Townsend, myself sat down with Rahal Letterman Lanigan today as the action is on for the top 3 spot. Ferrucci.
Get after it now, get after it now, get a run on him, he's got checked up.
He's got to back it up here and get a run out of Townsend. You can't get crowd up on him in the corner, but looks like Kanan is now starting to struggle.
Just to finish that point on Sato.
Here comes Ferrucci to the high side.
There's still grip out there, Santino. Keep it under control. You got to time your pass coming off a 4 here.
Can you imagine if Sato can go through from last week to this week in just the swing of emotion and fortune? We will see.
All week Sato had to defend himself, trying to explain what was going on, despite the fact he was penalized, despite the blame from the other drivers in the incident. And Paul, you and I said to him, hey, focus forward today. There's no better way to go out and redeem yourself than to have a strong run. Not only that, go win a race, and he's well on his way to doing that tonight if he can hang on. And right now, Hinchcliffe is doing Sato no favors.
Yeah, we sat with him for an hour this afternoon. We debated the whole thing back and forth, and our main thing that we told him is focus.
Oh,
Santino, get down on the track.
Hinchcliffe comes,
he's going to rush the wall.
Newgarden through again.
Nobody has completed more laps than Santino Ferrucci as a rookie this season. It's a remarkable achievement. He almost threw it away there.
Oh, look at Newgarden gets loose in the corner. He's lost the
All right, guys, I had to try. I just had to.
That's the voice of Ferrucci saying, I had to try. I just had to. Here it is.
He tried the high side here, just went in, and there's just the marbles, and he's just sideways. Great car control on this kid.
He's got 6 more laps to get back to Newgarden and have another go.
Sato now has got a nice run on Hinchcliffe. He's going to put a buffer between himself. But we told him before the race, focus on going forward. Don't dwell on the past. It's over. Move on. And you're a good driver. You know how to win races. You're an Indy 500
let's
champion.
Keep the car under you. Let's bring this home.
And
nice job. Keep it under you.
You can hear the tension in the voice of the spotter just coaching him through these last 5 laps.
How about for Tony Kanaan and Ed Carpenter? For AJ Foyt Racing and Ed Carpenter Racing, what a highly unpredictable podium. Sato, Kanaan, and Carpenter, it's not there yet, but it will be in 5 laps' time.
This is going to be the happiest podium of the year with these 3 guys.
Hey.
All 3 of these guys desperate to get a good finish.
Ferrucci's right back on Newgarden, so he's still hungry for a podium finish. Ferrucci is. Newgarden just trying to nurse it home, knowing that as they run right now, his championship lead would be 46 points.
Does Newgarden let him go and play it safe? Ferrucci wants another good finish.
I think
he's
so.
right there.
I don't think Joseph would fight it too hard, knowing that Alexander Rossi,
he's got to run,
is way down in 13th place.
Ferrucci got another good exit off the back straightaway.
Carpenter on Kanaan.
Oh, Carpenter slides by.
What can Ed Carpenter do with clean air and 4 laps to go? How fast is he going to close on Sato?
Well, he's left Kanaan behind. Kanaan may be in danger of missing the podium.
Does Newgarden go for that podium like he did at Mid-Ohio? Is he going to stuff it in on Kanaan? Here comes Ferrucci with a run coming off the corner. A great exit.
Inside here, Ferrucci.
Oh, it's going to be a late one. It's a late one. He whistles it in.
Clear. Conor Daly style. Ferrucci to 4th.
He can get Kanaan.
Look at Ed Carpenter. Look at how close he is. Ed Carpenter, that lap was half a second quicker than Takuma Sato.
2 laps to go. 2.5 miles will determine this race. And Ed Carpenter is in with a shot of victory. He was last night in final practice. I spoke with his engineer, Peter Craig, today. He said, it wasn't looking good. It sure is looking good now.
He's got a run there. He's got a nice run coming off the corner. Does he go for it? Coming to the white flag.
1 to go.
1.25 miles left in this race. Under the lights, the final oval of 2019.
Ferrucci's got a run coming off the turn 2. He's right there. Kanaan blocks. He's going to make him go in the gray. Oh, this could be disastrous.
Backs out of it.
Oh no. He's going to lose it.
Hold on. The checkered flag is waiting. Is it Sato? Is it Carpenter? It's going to be close. It's Takuma Sato.
Oh!
No,
Newgarden.
You are the man.
Is that Newgarden?
That's Newgarden.
The championship
Oh
leader
my gosh.
spins.
He's losing points with every pass here. There's Rossi.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Rossi beats him to the line.
How in the world did that happen?
That was the most insane race I have ever seen.
Takuma Sato goes from a lap one crash at Pocono to victory in the space of a week. Now that is a comeback.
I can't believe what happened to Newgarden coming to the line.
He lost 8 points in one corner.
All the support, the team, fans, sponsors, Stevenson, Scott, Corey, Eddie, you made fantastic. The voice, 30 voice, fantastic, thank you.
That is a way to respond to the criticism of a week ago and put it behind you. Sato the victor. That's his second win on the season. Look how close it was with Ed Carpenter. This is 0.04 of a second.
What a terrific comeback for both of these cars that were opportunistic or really received good luck on the yellow, but this was Ferrucci. Oh no! Newgarden, this is like mid-Ohio all over again.
Newgarden shot the gap when Ferrucci got high on that move with Kanan. He tried to shoot the gap, locked it up. He's an anti-stall right here. And then watch all these cars, and then Rossi beats him to the line by inches right here.
Newgarden didn't hit anything. He just couldn't get the car to fire. As Rossi goes by at the line.
Unbelievable.
But Rossi wasn't a lap down. He was a lap down.
He was a lap down, but Newgarden was losing points with every pass.
He was.
From Pagano, from Daly.
Yeah, and to your point about points, he was 46 up. He's now only 38 up.
Oh.
So that was a nervous finish.
Look at Newgarden. He's looking in his mirror going, oh, man.
I'll tell you what. If you're not an IndyCar fan now, and I don't know what you want in racing.
Gavin Ward, the race engineer, saying, oh no.
He's saying, why?
What happened?
Can I get you here so I don't have a porta john?
Wow. Takuma Sato, though, is the headline. Victorious at Gateway.
And as much as Newgarden must be in absolute shock, I'll bet Sato is too, just based on what the week that he's had. It's been an exhausting week for Sato, and what a way to answer the critics.
From 5th to last to victory lane.
Takuma Sato is going to hug everyone in sight right now and celebrate win number 5 as an IndyCar driver. Remember, that includes the Indianapolis 500 as well. He's won for A.J. Foyt. He's won now 2 times for Bobby Rahal and Mike Lanigan and David Letterman. Takuma, this last week, I know has not been one you enjoyed. What's the significance of coming back and winning on this oval tonight?
It's just the support, you know. Thank you for IndyCar fans. Thank you for the fans all over the world. Japan, USA, Europe. These people, the team, made this happen. You know, all the way to support the last couple of days. It was tough, but we kept going, head down, did our job, and obviously today was a little lucky in terms of strategy, but we were fast, so it was great.
You came from the back. I want to go back to the start of this race. You had a good starting position and 5th, and it got really hairy. What happened at the beginning when you lost all those spots?
I don't know, it probably was a 3 wide, 4 wide, and we gently touched, I think it was a hinge grade, I don't remember, but it was tough. I mean, I lost the moment twice, but I don't know. I mean, we made it happen today, and really big thank you to the team. Incredible team.
So you got back off sequence by taking an extra stop, but I'm not sure even with the yellow that it might have kept you away. I think you were in position to be able to still do it on one more stop even without the yellow, and possibly would you have been able to come out in front?
2 times on the yellow that we were coming into the box, but it happened to the yellow at the same time, so we had to save the fuel all the time. But I think it's what's significant was the stint before we made it was a very, very high pace, and I think we kept on the read lap until yellow came, and then we stand on reader. So that was a very significant moment.
Nothing will ever top the Indianapolis 500, but how does this rate as far as satisfying wins?
You just can't compare. I think win is just superb, and I really big thank you to all the fans, all the teams. They did this win.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Kelly.
So that margin of victory, just 0.04 of a second over Ed Carpenter. But Ed, considering where you guys started this weekend, how satisfying to be here on the podium?
Very. I mean, yesterday was brutal. It was one of the hardest days I've had in a car, and just confusing, you know. But you know, both teams, the 20 and 21, you know, neither of us were really good yesterday, but we just kept our heads down, and we really didn't have to change much to get it in the window, and we were really good on long runs tonight. That's really what was good for us. So just needed a little more time to get Takuma.
One more lap, and what could you have done?
Yeah, even if the straightaway, the finish line was just a little further down, I think we would have been good. But it's a good way for me to finish my driving season, you know, get the Sonax Auto Geek Chevrolet back up front. So just want to thank everyone involved with that, Stuart Reed, Direct Supply, everyone that helps us get here.
All right, great race, great day for Ed Carpenter.
Tony Kanaan, 3rd place. This will teach AJ Foyt to sit at home and miss this race.
I hope he was on the edge of his seat, but you know, great job for us. We're having a tough year, and I've heard it all by now. And you know, I think we prove it. Obviously, we played the strategy play out, but once we're in the front, I tried to hang in there, man. I was trying to go for that win. Had a couple good restarts. I mean, really happy for the team. Happy to shut up some of the people that are criticizing us, and you know, it is what it is. That's I think, you know, when I go through tough times, I perform better. So that's what's gonna happen. Bring it on. Keep coming.
All right, a podium for TK, Kevin.
Well, Joseph Newgarden finishes up front as far as the championship contenders are concerned, and unfortunately for you, you lost a few spots at the end. I was listening to the radio. You were not happy with Santino Ferrucci. You guys have already talked what happened from your view and what was said.
Well, look, it's important. It's important to know that he's a rookie. What he did was, in my opinion, dangerous. He came over to talk to me, said he was loose. That's why he was down there, but I've been in the exact same position tonight. I know what it's like to get up in the marbles. He got up there a couple times. He came directly back down to the racing line to try and block at the end, which was no reason to. I gave him the position twice because I was suffering with vibrations all night, and my car was getting quite difficult to drive at the end of that stint. So I let him go 2 times during the night. But he's got to learn that this is big-time auto racing. If you do a move like that on an oval, particularly at a high-speed oval, you will cause a very serious wreck. And he's just got to know that. I mean, I really drilled it to him that you cannot come directly to the racing line. That was his instinct, was to come right back to the racing line, which, you know, he's a racer. You're going to have instincts like that, but you cannot do that in oval racing. It's absolutely not okay. So it's a lesson. I hope he learns that, and I hope he gets that in his head. But for us tonight, you know, our guys did a great job. I mean, PPG car was fast. We were better in clean air, which was unfortunate because we got stuck in dirty air more often than not. I think if we were a little bit better in traffic, we could have made something happen. But they did a great job, great stops, good typical calls from everybody. I'm really proud of the team. So now we just got to try and you know, have a couple better rounds here to finish the season off.
And Joseph came in with a 35-point lead in the championship this weekend. He leaves now up 38, and it's Penske 1-2 in the championship with Pagenaud moving up to 2nd.
That's the most important thing to remember, is that the lead has grown to 38, and Rossi is pushed back to 3rd. Dixon now a full 70 points out of the lead of this championship. 2 races to go, and Will Power, who crashed out early in this race, is now almost 150 points away from his Team Penske teammate Joseph Newgarden. So frustration there for Newgarden with Santino Ferrucci, but big picture-wise, his lead has grown, and it's all celebrations at Team Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan. Victory Lane here in Gateway.
back at Gateway as Takuma Sato, I don't think, can believe it from the craziness of last week at Pocono, crashing out on lap 1 and all of the criticism midweek, to coming back to victory lane. Second win on the season to go with his victory in Alabama. More interviews and more post-race wrap-up. Let's join Kelly Stavist.
In the 16th position, Matthias last, coming across at 17. Graham Rahal finishing in 18th. Sebastian Bourdais 19th. Scott Dixon 20th.
We're having some audio issues there. Santino Ferrucci was animated anyway.
Yeah, I want to hear that interview. So
there's no problem there. We'll get Kelly's mic back online, and she's there. You're there.
Hello.
You're there now,
Hey,
Kel.
sorry about that, guys. So obviously we heard from Joseph Newgarden before the break, and Santino, he did voice, I should say, a little bit of concern or displeasure with that move you made there towards the end of the race. I just first want to hear your side of that.
Yeah, you know, we had a strong race car. He wasn't fighting us to get into 4th place, and I really respect that from him. And I was really trying to bring home some hardware because we've been running out front all night, and quite frankly, our race car was good enough to win this thing. And at the end there, I was really trying to get TK. I lost the car, and I wanted to get out of the marbles. And, you know, I did close the line on him a little bit too much, but obviously we're fighting for 2 different championships. And at the end of the day, I did what I had to do to save the car. And unfortunately, you know, he got the worst of it, but, you know, he did finish the race, and he still picked up some good championship points. But overall, I'd definitely say probably could have given him a little bit more room, but I really wanted that hardware, so.
Well, that championship for Santino, of course, the Rookie of the Year. You came in trailing just a little bit behind Felix Rosenquist. All right, 97 laps led. What was that experience like for you tonight?
Oh, man, I had so much fun leading this race. I mean, having open air like that, just being able to run to a pace, run your lines, and just not have to think about it, and, you know, adjust your tools a couple times a lap and enjoy it. And that's what I did. And, you know, I was having a little bit of a hard time saving so much fuel as we did, but, you know, you do what you got to do to stay in it. And at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy to come home with another top 5.
Well, we enjoyed watching. Thank you. Kev?
Simon Pagenaud comes home 5th and moves from 3rd to 2nd in the championship, picked up a couple of points. This was a wild night. What was your evening like?
Yeah, what a night. Unbelievable. I can't wait to watch this race again. Wow, what a roller coaster for us, especially we had some really struggled on restarts to get temperature in the tires. So every time we had a restart, it was a bit of a nightmare for us, but the car was really strong, really good on long runs. And at the end, I had to be like a ninja, slide through the field, and we did that. The car was phenomenal. So, you know, it was a good championship day for us. I'm sorry for what happened to Joseph at the end. Certainly, it's a real shame. But for us on the 22 car, Menard Chevy, well, a great day. You know, I think that's where we would have ended up, maybe a little better, but strategy was very interesting tonight.
And 2 to go, and here you are right in the championship. Simon Pagenaud, we'll watch for him coming up to Portland next weekend. Good run, Robin.
All right, you went from 2nd to 3rd in the championship, but it could have been a lot worse because Newgarden spins out. You made some great passes tonight, but that last pit stop probably hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a car. I mean, we drove it up to P3 on pace, and yeah, it's just the way the series works and the way the yellows fall sometimes, and it's frustrating, right? Because he spins unaffected, crashes in Toronto unaffected. Yeah, it's just the way it goes. I mean, I think the whole 27 Napa Andretti Honda team did a really good job overnight, put together a fast race car that, yeah, we were able to get from 11th to 3rd, and you know, we're content running up there and could run the same pace as Joseph, if not quicker. So it's unfortunate the way it goes down. The series is really difficult, and got 2 to go, and we'll just keep our head down and try and go win races.
All right, we'll see you in Portland. Now, this podium is pretty much the Geritol set, folks. Are you kidding me? We got Sato, who's 42 or 43. We got Kanaan, who's 44, almost in a wheelchair. Ed Carpenter, he's a kid. He's not even 40 yet. So I think when everybody sees this 1, 2, 3, they're going to go, hey, there's still hope for the old guys. But I still can't believe Foyt wasn't here to watch Tony Kanaan.
To your point, Robin, the average age of the podium is just over 41. The older guys can still get it done, especially Takuma Sato. What a way to rebound from one of the most frustrating weeks of his career. Yet again, Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway has not disappointed. And a couple of IndyCar veterans there, open wheel veterans, former F1 star Takuma Sato, who's been in IndyCar now 10 years, and Tony Kanaan and Ed Carpenter fulfill the top 3 spots, the 3 spots on the podium. Have a look at that. And then for the 3rd time this year, 2nd time in a week, Santino Ferrucci equals his career best finish. And look at that, Pagenaud and then Conor Daly. He did what he did here 2 years ago by finishing 6th.
Carrying on down through the list, there were some issues with some drivers at the back of the field as we go 12th through 22nd here. Let's start at the bottom there. Will Power, first one, Paul, to fall victim to the heavy marbles that built throughout each tire stint.
Yeah, Graham Rahal had an issue. Bourdais hit the wall, but Alexander Rossi just didn't catch the yellow and had to make an extra stop.
And some lively conversations going on for the podium getters. Almost done here at Gateway. Quick reminder, coming up next, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross from Crawfordsville, Indiana. It is the season finale in that series for this year. Let's check in with Robin Miller one more time.
All right, Conor Daly goes from 18th to 6th, and he drove from 18th to 6th, but for a while there, it was Podium City because you were 3rd and closing in on 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, this car was awesome. You know, super thankful to have this chance. Carlin and Gallagher Insurance, they've given me this incredible opportunity to drive, and I love this track. Racing here is so awesome, so much fun.
Why? Why is it so good?
I don't really know. It just suits me. I mean, the fact that you can just chuck a car into the corner, and it's actually, you can late brake people. It's like a bunch of high-speed corners on a road course, and I like high-speed corners. So I just really enjoyed it. There was a couple situations where I'm not really sure why people were doing what they were doing, and lap traffic especially, but the fact that we led a lap at least and got to the front and did it on merit, I was just so thankful. I love doing this, and I need a job next year. So.
All right. Well, we'll see you at the finale driving for Andretti, Lee Diffie.
Mr. Turn 3, Conor Daly. Incredible. And then, just before we say farewell, reminding you about those points heading to Portland International next week. Newgarden has grown his lead from 35 to 36 with the pole position, now to 38. It's no longer over Alexander Rossi, it's Simon Pagenaud. And we have to say thanks to Paul Tracy, Townsend Bell. Townsend, good luck tomorrow at VIR in your AIM Vassar-Sullivan Lexus sports car in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship.
Thank you, sir. We'll go get him.
Go get him. A very unlikely podium, but a super enjoyable race tonight here at Gateway. We'll see you next weekend at 3 o'clock Eastern for the Grand Prix of Portland. Racing continues tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern with the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. And from all of us, we say congratulations to Takuma Sato. He's a winner here at Gateway.